nerds say biddy this, biddy that, but at the end of the day, it's still biddy. Hi guys, welcome back to Between Nerds Podcast. My name is Drew Philip Elias. I am here with my co-host,
Aldo Mendez, and big bro, Christopher James. What up, what up?
Back here for technically your third occurrence on the podcast?
Third, yes sir, third time.
Yeah, well, okay, so let me get this right. You're part of the long lost episodes with Mr. Lloyd Parker Jr.
Mr. Lloyd Parker, yes sir.
And you gave us a retort on our take on Cowboy Bebop.
Yes sir. Yes sir.
And today you're here for what?
Today we're here to talk about my favorite anime, One Piece. So I'm actually really excited that I was telling Aldo, as soon as you messaged me like, yo, we're gonna talk about One Piece, I was like, oh thank God, yes, because this is what I've been wanting to talk about for such a long time. So I'm glad you invited me.
Yeah, you've been harassing me for months about this.
Actually, I have.
Since like August. So.
Yeah, since like when you first, I think it was episode like 7 or 8, I was like, yo, we need to talk about One Piece. We need to talk about, because I forgot what chapter it was that came out, and I was like, yo, we need to start talking about One Piece.
And I think the reason that we just have put it up for like a while is that we want to give it justice for the first episode of it, so we have to watch, 44 episodes for the 3 main arcs?
So One Piece is split into both sagas and arcs. Do I have that correct,
yes,
CJ?
Sir.
So sagas are the bigger
Arcing stories?
Yeah, so a saga is made of multiple arcs. Mm-hmm. So you're right. So we watched the East Blue Saga, which is up to episode 50.
I think it's 54.
Yeah, something like that. Well, yeah, Arlong Park ends at 44, and then we get 6 episodes of filler-ish tying up the story.
I watched those. Yeah.
And then so this is the first major saga, but it has the first classic arc, which is the Arlong Park arc. Mm-hmm. And before we get too far into the anime and the One Piece discussion, I just want to reiterate that for the month of January, Between Nerds Podcast is doing a giveaway like we do every month. It's for the El Paso Fire Department. Please use hashtag EPFireNerds to be entered into our January giveaway. For every original tweet used or Instagram post using said hashtag, you will be entered into our giveaway. And for every like and retweet on a picture or tweet that uses the hashtag, we will be donating to the El Paso Fire Department.
Mm-hmm. And if you listen to the last episode, we talked about this with Jacob and what will be the best way. What will be the best way to donate to the fire department? So I think we're gonna, from what Jacob told us, is that a better donation will be something like kitchen utensils, new kitchenware, and stuff like that.
We're gonna show up with a bottle of vodka and just say, go for it, guys.
Have fun, go wild.
And similar to that, so the fire department, to get out of the legality there, they need a physical gift like that, something nice for the department. We're going to end up having to do something similar for last month's donation, which was supposed to be to the EP Coalition for the Homeless. But what we didn't realize is that able to make a donation to the coalition, you need to already be a member. And the annual dues for a membership are $100 a year. So, since not that many participated last month, and we're only going to be donating $10, what we are thinking instead is we'll do some a similar process, and we're just going to buy canned goods, $10 worth of canned goods, and drop it off at a homeless shelter or something like that,
okay.
Non-perishables and stuff like that.
Yep, because we still want to get these donations in, so whenever the podcast does get big enough, we can probably do these annually memberships that are required.
Yes,
that'd be dope.
When it does, yes sir.
When it does. So we're talking about One Piece. This started in 94?
The manga started in 94. The anime was 96?
I think so, yeah.
Cool. The animation, you told me this, and this is the first question you asked me, Drew, that what did I think about the animation, and I told you it was weird, and you told me that the first season, I think, it's been reanimated a couple of times.
It has, actually.
Yeah, a few different times, but first, Mr. Aldo Mendez... Normally we would ask this to our guest, but since CJ, you're already so well versed in One Piece, we're going to ask it to Aldo together.
Yeah.
In big terms, describe One Piece to me.
It's about the friends you make along the way, brother.
It's about your Nakama, bro. He got it. It's about your Nakama.
There you go.
Yeah, it's about the friends you make along the way, because I don't know, man. I can't.
I am so proud of you. I am so fucking proud of you, bro. Not like One Piece just passed 1,000 chapters, and that's still the moral of the fucking
Dog,
story.
yeah.
bro. Everybody is still all about.
And when I started watching it, I think it was in the first like arc, like the first kind of before they rescue Zoro from the Marines, from the corrupted Marines. There's this episode where well, actually, it's in the first episode. What's the blue kid's name? The one at the beginning. I mean, purple kid.
The pink hair.
Yeah, pink hair. Kobe. That's right. Kobe. Like the episode starts with Luffy. Yeah, Luffy saying that he wants to be king of the pirates, and he being appalled about that because it's like, how are you going to do that? Because apparently being the king of the pirates is impossible as a new watcher, as a new viewer. And then like 10 seconds after that, Kobe has a flashback of those past last 10 seconds. You get me? Yeah. Like that just happened and you had a flashback about it. And that to me, I was like, wow, this really goes to the like 900 plus episodes.
Yeah.
You know? Because I'm like, you really just went back like that on 10 seconds like that.
But it resonated with
but it resonates. Yeah. And we just, to me, and I think this is like a low blow to One Piece. I kind of compared it to Dragon Ball Z without the screaming and the filler episodes.
No, I get it. Because Dragon Ball Z, to be fair, is like a lot of his power derives from like, yo, I'm doing this for my friends. Like, yo, you mess with my friends, I'm gonna mess you up. You know what I mean? Type stuff. So it's like, I get it. No, I get it. That's
But it's way better. Like, and I told you this before, the first 10 episodes of One Piece are so fun to watch. And it has more lore and more creativity than 26 episodes of Cowboy Bebop.
They shove a lot more like backstory and like feels and
Yeah.
26 episodes.
They try to get you really into it. Yeah.
Well, what I was going to bring up about the pacing is that's one of the major gripes that like, because there's a bunch of people that have been watching or reading the manga for decades, but refuse to watch the anime because of that reason. And the reason why is because One Piece has been coming out with an episode every week at the same pace that the manga comes out. If anything, it's at a slower pace than even the manga. And you've read like a manga chapter of a manga. It's like 6 pages long. You know what I mean?
It's nothing. Yeah.
And in One Piece chapters don't even come out every week. A lot of times it's every other week. So you're fitting like 3 pages into that like 20 minutes.
Yeah, they got to expand a lot on it. I mean, for example, like if in a fight scene in a manga, you just see like you just see the aftermath basically. You just see the punch. But what they show in the anime a lot is like they show the build up, they show the in between, which I really like actually. I like that the anime does it. They expand more on fights. So it gives more to like the imagination, you know what I mean? Like you're wondering like, and if you read a manga, you're just like, well, okay, obviously he got punched. But there's more that happened. It wasn't just a quick punch. Yeah. But in the anime, at least there's like, oh, okay, you see the
expand
whole scrap.
a little bit on
you see
it.
the whole fight. So I really like that they do that.
Wait, hold on. Before we get too far away. So you're right. It's about your Nakama. It's about your family. It's about the friends you make along the way. But One Piece is about a young boy, like you were saying, that wants to become king of the pirates.
His name is Monkey D. Luffy.
Monkey D. Luffy. He ate the Gomu Gomu no Mi, which turned him into rubber.
Yes.
So that's the initial power system in this shonen anime,
which is rare. On my bad, which is rare for people to have. Right?
What did you think about that? Actually, that he was a rubber boy.
Well, what tripped me out the most is that the ability for the fruit to remove his ability to swim. That's what I was weird. It's like, why would the ocean hate you for eating this fruit?
We don't know.
Yeah, that's
we don't know, bro.
Still,
we're at chapter 1000. We still don't know.
So. Like that, I was like, okay, cool. He ate this rare fruit. It almost reminded me of Zelda. It's like you eat a rare fruit and you're resistant to fire or resistant to cold or something like that. And when they said, oh, but you're not going to be able to swim because the ocean's going to hate you.
I always thought of it like...
So it makes sense because you're a pirate and you're like 99% of the time you're in water.
Right.
But you can't do shit about finding treasures or anything like that.
Some of the language they use is you're eating a demon. How do they use it? That's why you can't eat 2 devil fruits, because those demons inside of you will fight each other.
Battle it out, and so it's too much of a power for one person.
That makes sense.
Kind of like just combust.
Right. So if you're eating the power of a demon, which we've never seen, this is all conjecture, but I can't even remember who explained it like
I think
this.
that was Chopper, to be fair.
Yeah.
Way later on.
There gets to be like a doctor that's part of the crew, and he tried explaining it like that. He's like, yeah, you can't exactly eat two demons, and that's why the ocean hates you, because like you're...
I always thought of it like, for example, like if you're going to be a pirate, you know, you're a man among men, you know what I mean? But if you're going to take a little advantage, for example, like a devil fruit, maybe the sea is just like, oh, okay, you're taking a little help. Yeah, you're taking a little help. Okay, I'm gonna curse you like that. I always thought of it something like that.
And that's not all it is. Like even the initial like pirate parts of the pirate crew, like the initial 4 members, Luffy's the only powered person, right? Like Sanji unpowered, Zoro unpowered, Nami unpowered, Usopp unpowered. So like, even like the strongest pirates in chapter 1000 don't have a devil fruit.
Yeah.
Like there's devil fruits introduced that are like a hindrance to whoever eats it. Like it's like a joke. Like you really ate that?
Yeah,
like
whoa,
that sucks. Like that's bad.
And yeah, so we start off with like that ugly lady, cowboy lady. Elvita. She reminds me like of a bad guy on like did you guys ever play Sunset Cowboys?
No.
The little arcade game? No. The little cowboy? No? Hell yeah. It reminded me of like a villain from there. But yeah, he bits him real quick, and it's meant to seem like, oh shit, because in Kobe's perspective, he's like, oh shit, he just defeated like a fucking pirate captain.
What'd you think of that one punch that like just I think it was a gum pistol?
Yeah, as soon as he started with this power mentioning like the gum pistol and the gum whip and gum spear, I'm like, that is a very creative way of just using rubber.
Yeah, and it stays like that, bro. Like he's just punching the strongest people in the world with a fucking rubber power. Like to this day, 20 years later, like Eiichiro Oda is still just like pulling just random rubber powers out of his ass. Like,
bro, but it's, man, the way it comes to fruition is like, yo, that's actually really creative how he thinks of stuff like that. It's like,
and this is only the initial power system. Halfway through the anime, he adds a second power system. So at a certain point, like it's just different layers of just power scaling, because it's like, oh, okay, you have this really strong devil fruit, but I've mastered this other like fighting system, so I'm just like, I'm your trump card.
Yeah, well, that's how we see Zoro introduced, where so Luffy, after being in this ship with what was her name? Elvita. He returns to this island where there's like a marine post, and we are meant to think that this Marines is like the police pretty much, but they're corrupt.
That was one of my questions actually I wanted to ask you. What do you think about the Marines so far? Like, the Marines are supposed to be there for the people, but what do you think about them?
Well, it's just like the bullshit that we see on TV all the time.
Right? It's like, bro, it's so crazy.
But see, that's what's cool about One Piece, because it's literally the Straw Hat crew against everybody. We're against other pirates, we're against the world government, we're against the nobility,
if you think about it, we're basically rooting for the bad guys. Like, because these guys are technically pirates. They're going against civilians, they're going against like the Marines, they're going against like the people.
And that's what I wanted to mention, that all the other pirates are meant to seem, oh fuck, they're pirates, but then Luffy over here, he's not even thinking about being the baddest, being the meanest, being the richest. He's just like, I just want to be the king, and I'm out. But I need good people because I'm a good person. So like his crew, even though Zoro gets introduced like in a almost antagonistic way, like he ends up being like number 2 to this fool.
I think it's amazing that,
and it stays like that.
Zoro's the first person that he sought out.
It stays like that
on my team.
And it's so they're pirates by name only because they never pillage anybody at all.
They don't have a ship at the beginning.
It's crazy because they usually just party with everybody. As soon as they're done with whatever they're doing, they just like party it out.
They're like fucking Robin Hood.
Yeah.
So like they're trying to help the everyday man against like a tyrannical government. Like the Straw Hat crew is who Trump supporters think they are. So
yeah,
not to get political there, but like for real.
Yeah.
And like even early on, like even though Kobe becomes a Marine after Luffy saves Zoro from another like tyrannical Marine unit, Luffy respects him for that. He's like, you know what, you're gonna do you the best way that you can do it, as long as you do it the best, like I don't give a shit. Like
he even sets him up in a good way when he's like he starts with like a
he's like, who are you?
He's like,
who are
yo,
you,
man,
bro?
yeah, get out of here. And
he
starts
pops him,
wailing on him, and he's sort of like, oh, okay, we're clear, you guys.
Does he come back?
He does come back. I can't say too much.
Does come back?
there's a time skip.
I was glad. Okay, there's a time skip, but I was glad they wrote him off right away because I'm like, nah, man.
They do that with every character. They do that with
my questions. Actually, I was like, yo, what did you think about Kobe?
I'm like, I'm glad he got written away because I mean, he is a prop used to explain how motivated and strong Luffy is at the beginning.
Right.
So he's just used as a prop to be like, oh my god, you're doing this. Oh my god, you're fucking doing that. And like it all works out for here. You know?
That's the only thing that like stresses me out about One Piece sometimes, and that's why when I'm talking with you, I always have to ask you names because there's 1,000 chapters of One Piece.
There's a lot of names.
Over 1,000 like characters, bro. Like there's
like who is this again?
Once we get to like the Dressrosa arc, you're just like there's
so many characters.
Way too many characters. I can't remember any. The guy with the pineapple head, the guy. You feel like Luffy at that point, and you're just like, I don't know, the dude with the big nose. Like
I'm glad that because they in order to like describe certain characters to Luffy, they use like funny ass like characteristics. Like, yo, this guy looks like a pineapple, and they're like, oh, I know exactly who you're talking about. You're talking about Marco. And just like, I like that they do that because then it also helps us remember. Because like, yo,
exactly. Because if they were all designed the same way, you would be like, well, the guy that they met over there.
And then you're having to describe it off the power, and you're like, oh, I don't know.
What do you think about like in this anime, like all the different character designs, like how everybody looks pretty much?
I think they're really cool, especially if you allow me to jump to the end. Arlong character reminds me a lot of like the Joker from like the early 90s or the 90s.
Oh yeah, like WB cartoon,
like type evil.
Yeah. Well, what's the famous like story? The one that he paralyzes and rapes Batgirl.
When he pulls up
Killing Joke. Killing Joke. Yeah, he reminds
like
me
a pizza guy or something like that.
He's dressed in his like little hat and like the grin and like a Hawaiian kind of looking shirt.
Yeah, he pulls up to her apartment, right? And he's just like, surprise, bitch.
So that character, like, I really like that character design, but yeah, I do like everybody's character design. I even like Usopp's, and you guys are talking shit that I
hate Usopp. Early Usopp, I can't lie, it's
annoying. It's annoying, but like the character design, I don't know, it just makes me think of Pinocchio, which fits because
he's a liar.
He's a liar.
But what's crazy? Okay, to be fair, out of everybody on the
squad, and he's wearing his little like.
Wait, who's Usopp? Explain Usopp to me.
Okay, Usopp. Well, technically,
we haven't even gotten into Zoro. Do you guys want to do Usopp first?
Well, hold on. Okay,
let's do. I said we should do Zoro first. Zoro's
okay, so like episode 2,
literally,
like Luffy helps break out the East Blue. We're in an ocean called the East Blue. He helps break out the greatest East Blue pirate hunter named Zoro. He's got green hair. And he's locked up in like what's it called where your arms and your head are tied up in that metal thing?
I don't know, but it's like the medieval hands and neck kind of
wooden thing. Restrict your like neck.
Yeah,
and
but in
hands,
this case, he's like over a little cross like this, and they
ropes.
So so Luffy breaks him out, and he becomes number 2, and he's a swordsman. He fights
with 3 swords.
One
thing I want to add, one thing that made me really like his character is when that little girl, she was just like, "Yo, I made you this I think it was like a rice ball or whatever," and then old Helmeppo, lame ass fucking loser, just comes over and like stomps on it, and he still ate that. I was like, yo, this man is respectable.
Well, at the beginning, like I said, how Zoro starts getting introduced as an antagonist is because we are being made to believe that he is there because he's committed some sort of crime. But then we go into the story that he somehow saved that little girl that you were talking to and the mom that owned like a bar / restaurant kind of thing. So now we know that he's good. But yeah, that was cool. Like when he ate like the sand, like rice cake or whatever.
Bro, he was just like, yo, just give it to me anyway. She made it for me. I gotta eat it. I was like, yo, I like this guy.
And every like Straw Hat has that characteristic. They're like completely selfless, except for like Usopp.
One thing you'll notice is that every member that joins, they all state like a dream that they want. Everybody's always like, yo, like Usopp's is like, I want to be
in the beginning.
Pirate of the Warriors.
See, I was thinking about watching like this first Saga.
They stopped their foot on the barrel.
Yeah. In this first saga, I'm like, okay, Nami wants to be the best surveyor. We have the guy that wants to be the best swordsman. We have the best sniper. By the time you get to Brook, you're like, what does Brook really want? Like, or what is?
I think that was his dream, is to go back to Lagoon. Out of everybody,
but he
that
did
was
that. And then
no. I mean, he still needs to go back all the way.
What does Jinbei want? Really,
we still haven't.
He doesn't have a big dream like that.
We still haven't talked about his actually.
And so yeah, we get the initial like couple sagas and arcs are just trying to build the team, right? Like
so recruitment is that recruitment quote? Like the episodes that we watched, it was just recruitment.
Yeah. So it's like we're gonna get our swordsman. So then we go.
What do you think about the swordsman using 3 swords? One in each hand and one in his mouth.
It was cool. I thought it was very anime.
Really unique.
I thought it was very anime.
Literally, yeah. I was thinking that too when I first saw it. I was like, "Yo, that's very anime. That to be one in his mouth. I mean, who does that?" But to be fair, that's pretty fucking.
But that's like the meme that every nerd since the '90s, like when they're cosplaying being a swordsman, they're like
they all busted. Well, that's why
they're putting a sword in their mouth because like Zoro made that famous.
When they first introduced it, yeah, like this dude has like 6 swords on him. There's like all swords in his arms and his shoulders. He's like, bro, I'm about to whoop your ass with all 10 of these swords, bro. I don't care. So I the fact that he uses 3 swords is unique to him, and I really like that they added that. Like,
yeah, because he wants to be. His dream is like he wants to be the best swordsman.
Yeah, and
it's funny. Oh, I want to ask you is like, what do you think? Okay, you know how they introduced that girl Kuina? You know how Zoro, the girl that's in his village, the one that's like whooping his ass almost many times. What do you think about her? What do you think about her? Explain to me like her and her backstory.
Well, first of all, what do you want to say?
I don't even remember. Explain. Answer that question.
I think it was pretty cool. I thought it. I mean, it's because, like I said, the first episode. You're already going into flashbacks. So now we start meeting new people, and then you start doing like flashbacks, like of them, of how they grew up. Obviously, Zoro, he was a little kid that was training in a dojo, which the dojo reminded me a lot of the other guy in Samurai Champloo.
The dude with the glasses.
Same character design for like both of them. But
most of them are samurais. That's usually I like how they keep like actual like background like culture within it. I like how they keep that in the same.
And I thought it was cool. I mean, she always beats her ass, but she ends up dying.
What do you think about that? Her just like falling down the stairs. Honestly, bro, I thought that was really anticlimactic. I was like, really, just fall down the stairs?
I mean, when you're writing a 1,000 chapter anime, I'm pretty sure you can just write anything in there.
To be fair, I think it also emulates a strong point. Like, yo, this girl was able to beat down Zoro like so many times, and she was defeated by like a flight of stairs. Like she died to
defeated by a flight of stairs.
What I mean is like she was able to die from something like that could happen to anybody. You know what I mean? So don't take life, I guess, for granted. I guess that's why he lives in the manner that he does.
Well, probably one of my favorite reoccurring villains is Buggy. And you know what I mean? He's the biggest dumbass like ever. The clown.
I hated it.
You hate Buggy? Oh no!
It was so annoying.
I love Buggy.
I promise you will grow to love.
I don't hate him like I fucking hate it, but like his fucking little fighting arc.
He likes Usopp, but he hates Buggy.
I know. That
doesn't make sense.
Yo, Captain Buggy is hilarious, man.
But, like it's I don't know. I thought it was pretty annoying. Like he was our first character, I believe, that we meet that he's also eating a devil fruit.
Devil fruit, I believe so.
And
yeah.
It's possible for him to like detach his limbs, but still control them.
Didn't Alvina have one? She got fat, right?
No, she gets one after the fact.
Oh, okay, I'm tripping.
She doesn't become.
Yeah, because she has a club and
Yeah, she's just strong. Okay.
Yeah, she's just a big fat
So Buggy also ate a paramecia type devil fruit.
I can't remember what his is,
and he can detach
his
limbs to like so he can float basically. So
like what I think since we're in the land of pirates and there's a bunch of like people with goddamn swords, that comes in clutch. You know what I mean? For everybody to be able to like if. For example, someone pulls a knife on you and slices you. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Chop fruit. There you go.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, if someone is able to like slice your head off and it does nothing, I think that comes in clutch. You know what I mean? Someone's cut.
And that's the parallel to like Luffy's power, because Luffy can take a bullet.
And it just bounces.
And it bounces off because rubber, but he can, if he gets cut, he's cut because you can still cut rubber. But Buggy's the opposite. Like, he can get shot in the fucking face. And he can't detach himself. But if you cut him, like, it's a chop fruit. Yeah.
He's free to go. He's like,
so that's why, like, his fruit introduction, and I say paramecia fruit because they don't explain this to, like, 200 chapters later.
Like there's a different fruit for every different kind of part.
There's different types of fruits.
There's only 3 different types of fruit. So there's paramecias, which turn you...
You basically get like a ring of the mill type of like power. You know what I mean?
Get what?
Like a ring of the mill type.
Run
power.
of the mill.
Run of the mill. There you go. Sorry,
it's like a catch-all category. If we explain the other 2, the paramecia will make sense.
You could get like something random, like.
So wait, hold on. So the Logia class of devil fruit is you turn into an element. There's darkness, light, fire, magma, ice, snow, poison, gas. Like, not an element, but like, you get like what I mean,
pretty
right?
much like a substance, I guess you could say.
Mud. That one's considered a Logia. But that's different from Luffy.
Almost like a type in Pokemon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Much,
okay.
yeah.
And those are like some of the strongest ones. And then there's Zoan type devil fruits, which just turn you into an animal. There's fucking cat
what
ones.
I like about zones is like, I mean, it gets further into, because I mean, it gets really in depth, but there's different types of like, for example, like there's a cat zone, right? But you go into like a leopard and then a lion and then a tiger. So there's different types of like cats. You know what I mean? So it gets like really. You can get really in depth because there's a lot. I mean, there's like a fuckload of animals in the world. So there's like
where we're at right now in the manga. There's an entire pirate crew that just has like ancient Zoan type devil fruit. So they're all dinosaurs and shit. It's like Allosaurus, Bronchiosaurus, the Triceratops, the fucking headbutting one, a saber-toothed tiger.
Oh shit!
And then the captain has a fish fruit.
Which is like, bro, like, how does that happen, bro? But that's
anyway.
Further along.
So then the paramecia, since we've described Zoan and Logia, it's just the catch-all. It's everything. Like people that can like manipulate their weight, paramecia. People that have power of magnetism, paramecia. People that turn into rubber,
paramecia.
Even though that almost sounds like a Logia because you're turning into a different substance, but he also doesn't have control over like all rubber, so that's why it's not a Logia.
Mm-hmm. Which is really well, like for example, like another paramecia would be like what's his name?
Katakuri?
Well, his was a special paramecia because I think Odin had to. I mean,
there's one. Do you know what Mochi is?
Yes.
You know what Mochi is?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a guy that's like a parallel to Luffy. He has the Mochi fruit, so he does all of Luffy's powers, except he's just made of mochi, and like he's fucking.
It's like the same concept, but
he's Japanese cake batter, like
basically. Oh, there's this one.
Yeah, mochi. Yeah, it's like mochi ice cream.
Yeah. So then, so what we know from here on out is that it's gonna turn into a little bit of like a villain of the week kind of anime, and we're just gonna be being introduced to people with different like powers and devil fruits and stuff like that. So after we are introduced to Buggy, we start meeting Usopp, right?
I think so. Yeah. After we meet Captain Buggy, we have a little ordeal with him. Sends his ass flying. Which I think is honestly what I thought was kind of funny was the whole little ordeal with the dog. I mean, to be fair, it's just a dog.
So hold on.
I thought that was kind of hilarious.
For the listeners, right now, since like what we watch for this episode is like a crew thing. So right now we already have Zoro, which we rescue from the Marines. Now we have we get introduced to Nami. Was
it Nami or Usopp first? Was it Nami?
No, I believe it was Nami. She rides along, and then we end up going to serve.
Right. So then, who's Nami?
Nami would be technically considered the navigator of the crew, the one that's
because she stole from that clown pirate.
She stole from Buggy.
She stole the map.
Buggy. Yeah, or map and treasure.
Yes.
And we see like one of the main not main fights because nothing really happened just besides like Luffy kicking him on the balls.
Yeah, right. And
all the fights until you get to Arlong are really short.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Luffy, at that point, Luffy is basically just like, yo, I'm here just to whoop your ass. I'm here just to show a little tiny taste of like how strong I am, which I think is pretty cool. It gives you a little sample of what's to come.
That's the nerd logic on how exactly strong Luffy is, because from what we know about rubber, me throwing a fist straight outwards, the tension of the rubber would make my fist weaker, right? Because it's pulling me back. So whenever Luffy just like is able to punch outward and still knock somebody out, that's how you know like, oh fuck, like he is throwing his arm. So that's why when like he cocks his arm back
You
and
know
does a
something's coming, yeah.
a bigger pistol, that's when you're like, that's where you're gonna get all that tension just on somebody's fucking face.
You ever been snapped by a fucking rubber band? Like, by
And it stays like that because Luffy develops a method to like tense his rubber even more so that he gets even stronger tension, and he'll like bring
Tenses the elasticity.
He'll tense the elasticity.
Like the fibers are more
Like closely together. Yeah. So then at a certain point, he can just like pull his fist into his arm and like really
and
just
chuck it out.
Yeah, just like a cannon, bro. Like
okay, that's badass. See, I'm telling you,
fucking tight. Like you're like, oh. The first time I ever saw the King Kong gun, I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, Luffy has a cannon on his arm.
First time I ever saw him do, like, for example, like, the idea of the Gatling, like, it was just basically him just, like, ricocheting his arm like crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that was...
And he just kind of, like...
I'm telling you, like, for him to... Like, a lot of his, like... Well, one of the first statements he said was, like, yo, my fists are going to be as strong as, like, pistols, basically. Which I like that a lot of his moves are named after his pistol size.
So it kind of reminds me of like Plastic Man or like Mr. Fantastic and stuff like that.
It's Gumby with super strength.
It's anime Gumby.
Yeah, but like the powers in like with these superheroes in Marvel and DC is just like, oh, I'm make a big fist and big fist time. But like the powers, or like I'm gonna make myself a fucking blanket and carry some water. I don't know, something like that. But in what we see in Luffy is that I don't know, it's just so simple and so creative at the same time.
Yeah, and it stays like that because it like, especially with Luffy's powers, it's straight simple, bro. Like it's straight same, like the super like casual shit, but the way like Oda will just add some sauce on it. Like
what I like is he incorporates a lot of things that he just sees. For example, like
the pinwheel. That's the first time we see it.
That's we're on the same wavelength. That's literally what I was thinking.
But we'll get there first. But now we go to these to this town where we meet the town liar, which we know as Captain Usopp.
Captain, air quotes captain
of the Usopp Pirates.
What did you think about Usopp when you first got introduced to him?
As soon as he started running into town saying pirate, and I saw his overall shorts, his little big booted shoes, and his nose.
He's the boy who cried wolf.
Not only that, but I'm like, looks like Pinocchio. He's running into town screaming pirates. Is like, he's a liar and he's probably the boy that cried wolf. Yeah. So... yeah, it was annoying, but like I said, I really like the character design. In
the end, where Luffy's like, you know what? It doesn't matter if you want to be the best swordsman, the best cook, the best liar. And Usopp's just like, hey.
It's talking about me there? It's like, what I really like about him is he's just like he's basically your average Joe, man. He's just like he's basically us. If we were put inside anime, he's a regular person. But what I like about him is that in my eyes, he's the most courageous person on the crew. Because unlike Zoro, unlike Luffy, even Nami, she's just brains. He doesn't have super strength. He doesn't have a power or anything like that to rely on. But he just has like him in his guts, bro. So like the fact that he's able to do what he does is really impressive.
We see a lot of that when we get to the Fishman, I think that like at the end of the arc of his little arcing episodes of Usopp, when you find out that he is trying to cope from his mother, not only his mother's death, but the departure of his dad. He just, every time he just came running into town saying the pirates are coming, just to see if they ever came.
What we learned way later is that Usopp's dad
I'm sorry. Not only that, but he is helping also a girl that lost her parents. And then
that's true, actually.
What I was gonna say is that what we learned way later is that Usopp's dad is actually like stupidly important, and he's gonna be in the story later because red hair Shanks, who is Luffy's fucking hero,
shout out to Shanks.
Like Luffy's original reason for becoming a pirate is because the red hair pirates used to hang out on his home island all the time, and he thought they were so fucking dope. And he was just like, you know what, I'm gonna join you and I'm gonna become the best fucking pirate. And they all laughed at him because he's like 6 years old at the time. And like, whatever, dumbass. And then
that's where he eats the fucking fruit.
That's where he eats the gummy.
That's funny as hell though. I mean, that's just like what a kid would do, is like, yo, whose fruit is it? I'm gonna eat it.
because that's treasure to them. Because this is a priceless fucking devil fruit, and this dumbass kid just walks up and eats it, and all of a sudden his neck is rubbered. So,
which is hilarious, actually. I think that's funny how they show that, how they showcase like what happens with the fruit. Because as soon as he's hanging upside down, you see his head.
Yeah, because
you're like, oh damn,
yeah.
what the hell's kid?
Shanks is still stupidly important.
What do you think about Shanks? What's your opinion?
I wanna. It reminded me of Gon's dad.
Oh, okay.
But Gon's dad is a dick.
No, Luffy's dad is Gon's dad. Like,
yeah, really?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, that's what I kind of thought. That's what I kind of thought.
I'm telling you right now, man. 1,000 chapters in, we still don't know how fucking strong this guy is, bro. But we know that he's
and Luffy's dad.
Strong. Yeah.
Honestly, there's a lot of characters, even in the beginning, that we're like, okay, can I spoil something for you? Because Luffy's dad is in this beginning arc.
Really?
Oh yeah, you see him later on. I think you'll see him in a.
But you see, I saw him.
Left off.
Yeah, like when Luffy's gonna get executed at the end of the arc. Mm-hmm. And there a storm like he's got his head in.
You remember the guy that bruised like
he's got his head and his arms in the guillotine, and then a storm comes out of nowhere, and then we see this dude with long black hair and like a tattoo on his face. Oh. That's Luffy's dad. His name's Dragon D Monkey.
Monkey D Dragon, yeah. Which to be fair, I don't think the lightning. It could have been.
That's a big debate.
Yeah, I don't know if the lightning is him. I know that green mystic fucking wind that happened is definitely this guy.
We don't know that. That's not canon.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't know if that's him or not.
That's the thing. There's stuff that we're just going off of like bits and pieces, and like fan bases have just been making their own headcanon for decades.
Yeah,
because like we're arguing about this storm right here. It's not confirmed that the dad has a devil fruit power because Luffy's grandpa is part of the pirates. I mean, not the pirates. He's a part of the Navy.
You'll actually see him later on. Yeah,
he's one of the most powerful fucking naval officers ever. He defeated the old king of the pirates.
Which I think is cool. It brings up a point later on how you said, it's like, oh my god, I can't believe you ate a devil fruit. Well, this man is like ridiculously strong. No devil fruit. You know what I mean? So it's like there's a bunch of people that are. You would think like, oh my god, this guy has to have a devil fruit. No, doesn't have one. He's just.
Yeah, because Luffy's grandpa, Monkey D. Garp, is just like stupidly like his introduction is why you understand why Luffy's just so naturally strong because he can just like beat the shit out of any like random powered person he sees. Because Luffy's not supposed to feel pain, right? Because he's made of rubber. Well, they retrofit why he can feel pain when his grandpa punches him later. So the second power system that I was explaining earlier. Luffy's grandpa being like a super like well-traveled naval officer that fought the old pirate king, he has this second power system. So that's why Luffy can feel it when his grandpa punches him on the head.
Yeah, it gets complex later on, but I mean it gets later
stupid.
Anyway, with Usopp though, by the way, what I want to know is
okay. Hold on. We went on this tangent because we're trying to describe the red-haired pirates.
Oh yeah. That's
so we didn't even explain how Luffy got his straw hat. So Luffy, since he can't swim anymore from eating the Goma Goma no Mi, how do you end up in the ocean? He almost gets eaten by a sea king monster.
Remember those old guys?
Yeah. I can't remember what that weird ass loser's name was. He had a bounty of like 8 million or some weak ass one, but he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna steal this little kid," and he ends up kidnapping Luffy.
But he had already eaten the fruit. But
at this point, Luffy had eaten into the fruit, and he's just like, "Oh, I understand you ate the fruit," and he's like, "So I'm gonna just let you drown." He throws him in the water, and he bounces. I think at that point.
That's where Shanks is. Yeah, he just swims out.
I think at that point,
that's
Shanks
that's when he loses his arm.
The Sea King. Yeah. So Shanks.
What do you think about that moment when he lost his arm? What do you think about
Go ahead. What? When Shanks what?
So Shanks grabs up Luffy, and then the Sea King, the sea monster, comes up and eats this guy Shanks's left arm. And then we see again they retrofit this scene too once they introduce the second power system because. When Shanks gives that Sea King that glare and he just scurries the fuck off, that's like part of the second power system. Because like, fuck, can we describe? Okay, it's called hockey, right?
I heard you guys talking about it.
Okay, so there's 3 types of hockey, and there's Conqueror's hockey, which is what Shanks shows in episode 1 of One Piece, where it's just like, it's the power of the king where you can just like look at somebody and they just pass out or they run away.
Just like showcasing your willpower. Like, yo, I stand above others. I stand above all others. Someone that
like if you use Conqueror's hockey, somebody with weak will like just passes the fuck out.
And what's wrong with like Nen?
A little
Like,
bit.
You can think of it like maybe like semi like spiritual pressure from Bleach. Like,
Yes.
yo, like,
Yes.
It's like, I feel like the gravity of like I feel like the gravity of like
your aura.
yeah, something like that.
Something-
like, yo,
but-
I feel how strong your resolve is, and like it's like, bro, I can't be around.
So in these early One Piece scenes, there's a bunch of scenes that's just new Luffy just punching nameless characters, right? That doesn't happen the whole time, the whole like series, because once Luffy gets Conqueror's Haki, he just like looks at a crowd and 800 people pass out. So that's how we get past like these like nameless, pointless
That's
fights.
expected. I mean, you're the captain. You better be able to whoop some.
Well,
people's ass.
hey, and now that you mentioned this, like, it makes a lot of sense because we do get a lot of shots of fucking Luffy just death staring at the fucking audience, you know? He's just like...
He's
Yo,
right there.
that actually becomes like an actual threat later on.
Yeah. Like if Luffy looks at you, you're like, oh fuck. Like
I'm about to pass
So
out.
then, a second part of Haki is Armorer's Haki, which is how like Luffy's grandpa is able to punch Luffy and make it hurt, even though he's rubber. It's the weakness to Devil Fruit users. So you coat your body in like, again, like your aura, kind of, but not really. So like the way they represent in the manga and the anime now is it's
Like
like
man.
black.
Okay.
Like it, so it turns into like steel, like magical will,
like an invisible
steel.
armor.
Yeah.
In a way.
And that's how you can like hurt Devil Fruit users. And then the third one is Observation Haki, which we see kind of like how Zoro fights, because he can just like dodge really quick and like he's really precise with his swords. That's what that is.
You'll actually, if you do end up watching later, you'll end up seeing a small little showcase later on in the next arc. A small taste of Zoro using his observation haki, because it comes into play later. And that actually, honestly, I think, in my opinion, observation haki is like a really important one, because man, if you can see attacks before things happen, or if you can see things play out smooth, if you can stay calm and see things,
And that's what that's what I think Mihawk must have, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
hell yeah,
Yeah.
man. What do you think about Mihawk? You like him?
Hey, I thought that was really cool because it was just an introduction and then he just fucked off.
Who's
He was like,
Mihawk?
bro, I'm about to-
He's
he was
just
about
this
to- I'm
dude
about to
on this
whoop
itty
you.
bitty boat with a cross sword, just comes out of
Little
nowhere.
coffin boat, man.
Yeah, little coffin boat, and like Zoro recognizes him. He's like, "That's the strongest swordsman in the world. If I'm gonna be the strongest swordsman in the world, I gotta kick his ass."
He just
Did you
pulls out like a
did you like his
toothpick.
sword? Did you like his sword? Not the
That
little-
toothpick?
not
That was
the-
cool.
Bro,
I
the
like that
toothpick
better than the
whooped
big
his-
one.
Bro, when he pulled the little cross sword out, I was like, yo, this guy's thinking.
The
live,
big
my man.
crosser reminds me of what, like Devil May Cry? Is it Devil May
Yes,
Cry where he has
yeah,
like
yeah.
the big old
Big-ass
cross?
blade.
Or like
Yeah.
even Final Fantasy VII.
There you go.
Yeah, actually, yeah, big ass.
But Usopp, we won't go back to Usopp, right? Because that's how they get their ship.
Oh, yeah,
we
yeah.
were talking to Usopp.
That's how they get their ship. So
Oh, Usopp's dad is part of the Red Hair Pirates. That's it. Okay, sorry.
yes,
sorry.
and Luffy knew him because they hung out in his town's
In the
bar when he
old
was
So
school.
little.
Luffy like grew up with Usopp's dad.
Yeah, so yeah, and Usopp is like, oh well, they're telling him all this bullshit. Anyways, they have an altercation with the butler, which is an asshole. Budo, what's his name?
Kuro, Captain Kuro. Yeah.
Captain Kuro, right?
Yeah.
Captain Kuro, which we find out that he was a pirate that wanted to fake his own death and change his identity, so he ended up being a butler for this rich family where Usopp is from.
He's trying to comprise like this crazy evil scheme where it's like, yo, if I can get in with the young girl real fast, she'll end up donating something to me, and then if I can just have her write me in the will.
We meet Django, the hypnotist, and yeah, we see Koro talking to Django about, yeah, I need you to go and hypnotize a girl so she can put me in her will and leave everything to me, and then we can kill the entire town. Some shit like that.
I'm not gonna lie,
But-
that's actually a pretty smart plan, to be fair.
But his intentions was never to kill everybody in the town. He wanted to kill all the pirates because he actually wanted out from the pirate game. Am I correct? Yeah, and
Which-
I really like that dumbass Luffy got hypnotized not once but twice. But the second time he gets hypnotized to be stronger, so he just goes ape shit like on all the pirates. And then I don't know. That
Which
was
is
fun.
a small little showcase of his strength when he pulled the what's it called? Like the I don't know what it's called. Like the
deck,
no. The deck is like the
All
actual
of it,
the
right?
base of the ship, but it's like where
not
they
the
walk
caboose.
around. But whatever the goddamn
Yeah, I don't
the
know.
little mantle on the front is, just
Well, I'm
yanks
the
that
king
shit
of the
up. Yeah, bro,
world.
just yanks that shit right up. I was like,
Yeah.
bro, this man is strong as hell, bro. Like, goddamn, I really like that. This It's crazy to be fair, because like in most animes, you see the protagonist to be like this big, burly, strong ass, like manly person, and this guy is just like a scrawny little, I think, 18-year-old, 17-year-old, something like that. Which is really cool, because like you mostly see, like I said, you mostly see these big, strong men, and it's just like, all right, here comes this kid. But the fact that he's so determined, and like I said, his willpower is like, his resolve is like really, really strong and dominant. He's just like, yo, I'm about to come whoop some ass, dude. I'm gonna be king of the pirates.
Like, compare this to the first 3 parts of JoJo's. Like, he's purposely drawn like a little skinny fucking Gumby person. Like, and that's what's cool about it, because each Straw Hat Pirate Crew member is like not, they're in no way similar. Like, the first, we already talked about Zoro, but Zoro's like, he's super strong, he's fucking yoked.
It's funny that you say that, because that you say that, because he actually brings that up. He's I think it's Zoro that brings it up. He's just like, we all have different unique ideals and like goals and ambitions, but somehow, some way, it's just like coincides with one another. Like, we all can just like fit one another, and I think, bro, that's really cool. That's really tight. That's why, bro, I'm so happy that these guys are like all ride or dies, like with each other.
So as we go through like these episodes, we know that like pirates, not Luffy's crew. I mean Luffy's crew, is that he got Zoro to join pirates, which we know Zoro is a pirate bounty hunter kind of thing. So he literally convinced this super strong swordsman to join his pirate crew, because that's how good of a person Luffy is.
Bro, yeah, he convinced someone that wants to whoop his ass to join his team. That's pretty cool.
To kill him for money.
Right? He's like, yo, someone that's trying to kill you, come join my team. Like, all right.
And what's cool about the bounty thing is that they start using the bounties at a certain point as a numerical power system.
Scale, I guess.
Yeah, scale. So by the end of the saga that we watch, that's when we get Luffy's first bounty.
I wouldn't say it's more like a power scale. It's more like a
threat level.
A threat, yeah, like a threat level. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this guy's like this guy's pretty serious. You know what I mean? Because he's like in the 500,000s or something like that. Like, yo, this guy's like the real deal type thing. Which
is like $5,000, like American.
Yeah, or something like that.
Because they're using like yen conversion rates, so 500,000 is like $5,000, which is like nothing.
Yeah.
But still, that would be, they're impressive in their own right, you know what I mean?
And where are we? We got to meet Nami, but after Usopp. What happened at the end of Usopp?
We get the ship. We get the ship
because
the Going Merry,
because we defeated the butler, Captain Koro, which had like this like Edward Scissorhands kind of fucking power, and he like dances funny and makes them super fast, right?
I believe he uses he was just able to use like his agility to,
and then like he does like this back thing and starts killing his crewmates, and then fucking Luffy beats him. The girl that Usopp was trying to like lift her spirits. What was her name?
Kuina.
Mm-hmm. Kuina. She's rich, so she just gives him like a ship. And then Luffy.
I think it was the butler that gave her the ship, because it was a sheep too, right? The butler was like a sheep, which is kind of funny, honestly. I can't remember what the type of ship it is. I think it's called the.
So did he eat a devil fruit?
A galleon is bigger. I can't remember what the type of ship is called.
Did he eat a devil fruit that turned him into a sheep?
No, I think the sheep is. I think that's just how he looks. To be honest, I don't think they ever like
especially early on. There's character designs that are just like. Because we meet a rat in this part too, and he's like rat shaped, and he's not a devil fruit user.
Actually, speaking of like different characters, there's this one character that you'll see throughout the series called Panda Man. Bro, he appears just randomly throughout the series, dog. And
he's part of an important crew.
Well, yeah, he is part of an important crew, but you'll just see him. I'm just saying, he's not an important character. He's just randomly in the character. It's kind of like a Where's Waldo gag. You know what I mean? It's super fun.
So from there, we get the Going Merry. And we meet the cook. We meet Sanji.
Yes.
Right? And Sanji's like the first like really good backstory for me that's introduced, because Sanji since most of the world is just islands and ocean, like just large swaths of ocean, there's an entire ship that's just like a top tier restaurant.
Yep. Yeah, I really like that little arcing thing with Sanji, right? Sanji? Mm-hmm. Because our crew nearly to their sheep ship.
Sheep ship, actually. Yeah.
They come across this like pretentious asshole that is like part of the Marines, but he's like destroy the fucking boat because they're an eyesore. But Luffy ends up like literally gun slingshot the ball into the restaurant, and now he has to work there for a year to like pay it off.
A whole ass cannonball.
That's crazy, honestly.
And so then that's where we meet Sanji, who's just like this dude that, since everybody in these beginning arcs want to be the best at something, he wants to be the world's best cook. He wants to see the All Blue, which is a like a supposed part of the world where like all the world's like fish are there, and then he can cook the best fucking meal
I think it's
ever.
where all the oceans coincide with together. Yeah.
Okay.
And so then Sanji's backstory is wild, and like how he became like an important part of this like this cooking ship, because he was on another ship with the captain and it got destroyed. There was wreckage involved, and
Actually, it gets run over by Captain Zeph. Remember? Captain Zeph takes over the ship. Well, he ends up just like Captain Zeph comes up and he's like, "Yo, I'm here to take all your shit." Ends up obliterating everybody, and I think a storm ends up coming along, obliterates the entire ship. Captain Zeph ends up seeing that Sanji's like, oh shit, it's a tiny little kid. I gotta save him. You know what I mean? A grown man has to save the kid. So he saves the kid. What do you think about that though? When Captain Zeph ended up being the one saving them? Because I mean, Captain Zeph was like an asshole, kicked him in the face.
Captain Zeph is the chef that we meet at the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Red leg Zeph.
Redfoot.
Redfoot. Yeah.
Yeah, Redfoot Zeph.
So Mr. Zev is the master chef or the head chef at that restaurant that Luffy destroyed. So when we start getting background story between him and Sanji, because Sanji is like a fucking, like, he'll beat your ass if you're disrespecting the food or something like that. But then again, if you're a pirate and you're super hungry, he'll feed you for free. You know,
it's like the Zoro with the rice ball on the ground thing.
Yeah. And we go. The reason he's working there and Zev again, he saved young Sanji from drowning, but his leg was pinned up.
Nope.
Right?
Actually, what I wanted to bring up, okay, what happens in the manga, okay, what you saw in the show is his foot gets chained up, right, and it gets like cut off because he's trying to save him. But what actually happens in the manga is, okay, you remember how later on he was just like, yo, I see you with this big ass bag of food. I'm about to rob your ass. Technically, remember how it reveals that it's...
Hold on. So they pull up to the island, manga story-wise. They pull up to the island. The chef gives Sanji a big bag of food. He's like, don't fucking talk to me for a month, and
He's
we're
like,
just going to get by.
You sit on that side, I sit on this side. Don't talk to me. We're good.
Right, so Sanji eventually runs out of food, and then what happens? He walks up to Zeph.
He walks up to Zeph, and he notices that Zeph is missing part of his leg. And what happens in the manga is Zeph actually, with the rock, cuts his leg off and eats it because he has no food. Because what reveals later is that what he had in his bag is nothing but treasure. Yeah. So obviously they change it. You know, I mean, it's for kids.
You're not gonna show.
In the manga, he actually cuts his own leg off and eats it because I mean, man's gotta eat
for
right?
a month. You're eating your own rotten leg for a fucking month. It's like,
but all just to save this kid.
That's why you don't cut it off. You have to cut circulation to it and then like chunk little by little.
You're just copying the fucking what's that Spanish movie that's on Netflix? Platform. You're just copying the platform.
What do you mean copying? That's a smart way to eat yourself. You're not gonna cut it and then let it rot.
But to be fair, if you cut yourself little by little, that's just gonna fucking hurt.
Yeah, obviously,
because that's what happens in the platform.
I wouldn't even be hungry after I cut my goddamn leg off. Right? I'd be like,
but you'll be a little less hungry.
To be fair, after
the first time,
what I really like
I'm
is
pretty sure you'll get hungry enough to do it a second time.
What I really like that they bring up and they emphasize a lot is like, yo, when a man is really desperate and really hungry, bro, he'll go to such extreme lengths. So that's why Zeph even says, he's like, yo, the only person in this restaurant that knows what it's like to be really hungry is that man Sanji, because bro, they both were on the brink of death.
And Sanji was a child.
Yeah.
And he was a kid, exactly, bro.
So and Sanji, like, he only kicks. Like, he doesn't fight with his hands because like
that's his chef's hands.
Yeah, those are his chef's hands.
If he can't cook, what is he good for?
So when the Marines come through and try to like ransack Barati or whatever to take all the food because this bum ass part of the Navy.
No,
is
remember, Krieg comes along. Captain Krieg
Oh.
shows up. Because Geen shows up. That's when they show Geen showing up. Geen's like, yo, I'm hungry. And then how you said, hey, when a man's starving, Sanji's gonna feed you. Sanji ends up feeding him.
And he fucking bucks up everybody.
Yeah, he ends up going
He's the
back
one
to
with
his
the axe,
captain.
right? The one with the axe harm?
No, that's from
Oh,
the
no, that's a
earlier
Marine.
run.
That's a Marine.
Krieg comes along as the guy with the gold armor. Yeah,
that's
with the
right.
gold
That's
armor.
right. That's right.
And that's when that's how basically Sanji ends up realizing that like, yo, Luffy's the real fucking deal, because he's just like, yo,
So, like, Luffy's just against like unjustness. You know what I mean? If you're just acting
like a dick.
yeah, because
Yeah.
he literally saw, he's like, yo, Sanji just fed you, and then Krieg comes
Like,
along
don't
and
be
then like
disrespectful.
kicks him in the face, and he's like, yo, how you gonna do that type of shit? And then what's crazy, what I really like is because I think it was Krieg that says something about King of the Pirates, and then Luffy ends up stepping in. He's just like, yo, if anybody's gonna be King of the Pirates, it's gonna be me. Which he emphasizes that, bro. You're gonna hear that basically every goddamn episode, bro, because he says that shit every episode.
For 900 fucking episodes,
he says
bro.
that shit. I'm
Like-
gonna be King of the Pirates, and he means that shit, which I think is really tight.
No, it's badass, dude. Like I said, at this point, we're like past episode
we're on like 20 something.
20 something. Dude, like right now, I'm already invested. I already want to watch it. I already want to, like, it wasn't hard for me to watch 40, 52 episodes of it.
That's why I find it odd when a lot of people say like, oh man, there's so many episodes, but it's like, if you're having a good time watching it, you'll breeze right through that shit.
Yeah, man, because it's not something that I have to pay attention to.
Yeah, it doesn't feel anything like you have to like force yourself to watch. You just like watch it naturally.
Because we've seen fucking like Ghost in the Shell. You have to really pay attention to be able to fucking describe what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
You
To
know?
be fair,
and that's just an hour and 20 minutes.
Later on in the story, there is little like subtle hints that you kind of have to pay attention to. But I mean, this show, like how you said, there's a reason why there's 1,000 chapters, because they explain things a lot, and they'll bring up flashbacks to help basically like the reader or the viewer remember like, oh, this happened or such and such happened.
And then, like we talked before, this was like the shortest introduction to like Mihawk, or that guy, the swordsman.
And that's where we start learning. Well, they explain it like 5 episodes later, but we learn what the warlords are and like how the world power system like takes place. So there's 7 warlords.
There's the 3 power systems, the 7 warlords, how you said, the 7 warlords, the Shichibukai, and then there's the 4 Yonkos, basically the 4 emperors.
Yonko literally translates to 4 emperors.
4 emperors, basically, yeah. So there's just like the 4 main, the big badasses of the sea. You know what I mean? Like, yo, nobody fucks with those 4 kings of like of the sea. And then there's the Marines, which is basically the other powerhouse of the world. So with the 3 powerhouses, everything kind of not one person. It's like rock paper scissors, basically. You know what I mean? Like everybody's able to beat each other, so nobody basically has an upper hand over one another. So that's how the power system basically works on the show.
Okay.
Well, yeah, so there's 7 warlords, and the only reason I brought that up is because Mihawk is part of the 7 warlords. And where we're at in the manga, he's an ex-warlord. He got kicked out for some reason.
Yeah.
But, like, we're at the point that, like, in, like, chapter 1000, Luffy is fighting 2 of the 4 emperors at once. Like, that's how the power scaling goes. You know what I mean? Because we covered the East Blue Saga right now. The very next saga is the Alabasta Saga, where Luffy meets, like, his first warlord. And, like, that's where, like, really, really you start understanding how One Piece is going to go. He's going to keep fighting a big named character, like a warlord or a Yonko or a really big marine. And, like, that's where you get a sense of, like, where Luffy's matching up in the world power system.
It's like he's no longer just putting his foot in the water. Like, this man's jumping into that shit because it's just like, yo, I'm really serious about this.
Like, where we're at in the manga, Luffy can beat every warlord without even trying.
But yeah, I think at this point, it's pretty much...
So I saw your tweet that you mentioned the name of the crew, but then you said, but no Luffy or something like that? One of your tweets? Does that mean that we haven't seen Luffy in a while, or what? Luffy? I'm sorry?
Yeah, we see him all the time.
Oh yeah, he's always... Well, like how we said, there's eventually like...
What was the tweet?
Oh man, I honestly don't
I don't know, but I mean, it was something... I think you mentioned something, and then you said, but no Luffy. And I'm like, I was meant to think like, oh, so we haven't seen Luffy?
Oh, like somebody was strong or something, but no Luffy.
Oh man, I honestly don't even remember the tweet.
Well, it's because, like literally, like, the main villain that is being... Well, we don't know he's going to be the end villain, but, like, it's kind of being built up like this guy is going to be built up like the main villain. He's like the most classic looking pirate character, and his name's Blackbeard, like literally like fucking Blackbeard. So you get what I mean? So, and that's where we get a sense of like where his power system's going, because he was a regular pirate, then he became a warlord, and then he betrayed the Navy, which is the third power, and then he becomes a Yonko. So that's where, and if that's gonna be Luffy's like end boss, you're like, oh fuck, like world scale level power systems at this point, like
you'll see later on, like, because he ends up tying into the story like really crazy. But if it ends up being something like how you said, just a basic pirate ends up working his way through the ranks, no matter how it is, whether it's like through good or bad, and this guy ends up working his way through the top. It's like, man, once that end clash happens, oh man, I can't.
Where we're at right now, Luffy is the official / unofficial 5th Emperor of the Sea.
Emperor of the Sea, yeah.
Because although it stays being the main Straw Hat pirate crew, we get a Straw Hat fleet at a certain point. And Luffy's too dumb to like acknowledge the fleet, but like it's just like tens of thousands of guys that are like, Luffy, you're the fucking man. Like we're gonna follow you.
Like we vow ourselves to you type shit.
Yeah. We're like, if you call for us, we'll travel to the end of the world to like save your ass. Like don't even trip about it. And that's what's terrifying, because the scale just keeps getting bigger. Because a lot of the early villains that we're seeing, even Arlong a little bit, like they're goofy, you know what I mean? It's really funny character designs. Luffy makes fun of them a lot. They're not really that scary. Like the main villain in the East Blue Saga is Arlong, and he's a shark. But he's not that scary. Like, he gets punched a lot.
He's just huge.
Yeah, he's just big. And that means nothing because, like, at a certain point in One Piece, they don't even explain it. But there will be a 20-foot tall dude, and he's just a regular human. And, like, it directly signifies, like, how strong a person is, because Luffy's grandpa's, like, 15 feet tall. And it's for no reason. He's just strong and 15 feet tall.
I love, like, the body dynamics of, like, people in the show.
He's like the one guy from Harry Potter.
Like Hagrid?
Yeah, like Hagrid.
No, but everyone's like that. Like,
yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, everybody's like big and burly, and you're like
the more terrifying somebody is, the bigger they are. Just namelessly big for no reason.
For no reason.
Yeah. There's a character. She's one of the 4 Emperors of the Sea. Her name is Big Mom. She's a regular ass human. She's just fucking ginormous, and that's her.
It's funny though, because she, as big as she is, she's still not considered a giant. So that's like,
yeah,
I'm saying, like,
there's literally like race giants in this
giants.
shit.
It's wild, man. It's crazy.
What?
So like, there's 100-foot tall beings, but they're not as strong as like this 30-foot tall human.
I can't remember his name, but he's actually on Blackbeard's crew. He's able to walk like in the sea. His feet are. He's tall enough to stand.
Oh,
above
he's a
the
fishman.
Sea. No. I can't remember what his name is, but he has a devil fruit, and he's able to expand himself so big that he's able to just like walk in the sea. Like imagine being that fucking tall. Like that's ridiculous. That's why I love like body dynamics in that show. It's crazy how his imagination just goes.
Anyways, Sanji's part of the crew now.
Yeah, Sanji's part of the crew because Zoro got hit by Mihawk's sword, so he's really hurt, so he has to rest. So he's part of the crew because
Don Creek.
He saw Kabi. He saw Nami, and he falls in love with Nami. So that's pretty much his main reason for being part of the crew now.
What did he say? Like 98.6% reason why I'm on the crew.
He's a pervert. Like that's and that's like even now. That's why people get mad about Sanji's character, because Oda is true to these initial characters. Like Zoro is just a hard-headed, strong dude that will fight the strongest swordsman in the area, bar none. Luffy's a dumb person that's gonna punch the strongest person, bar none. Sanji is gonna try to mac on everything with tits he ever sees ever. And still in chapter 1000, like people that read weekly get mad about this because Sanji will put himself in the dumbest positions just because of girls
jeopardy,
involved.
Yeah, because of women's involved, which is honestly kind of annoying. But I mean, I get it.
But at the end of meeting Usopp, which was a cool story, by the way, we find out that fucking Nami just took the boat.
No, that's after Sanji. That's why we're talking about Sanji.
Yeah, we took out Sanji, and then when Sanji really decides to join them, we find out that Nami
ends up hijacking the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Luffy's stupid, and he's just like, "Where'd my friend Nami go? Like, we gotta go save her."
Which I think is really cool because look, no matter, despite what anybody said, because everybody's like, "No, Nami said she's out of here. She said fuck you guys," and he's like, "Nah, no, Nami's with us, bro."
So the two big bros that come out that always say big bro this, big bro that, they're the ones that were like, yeah, she looked at this bounty thing and then she just fucking took off.
What was his name?
Johnny and Yosaku. Yosaku.
There you go.
Yosaku. And those guys are the ones that tell him is like, yeah, she saw the poster of Arlong and she just fucking jetted.
Bounced.
Yeah, but then we see that she's like drifting away and she's like sad about that she like left her friends, you know?
Which I think it's pretty cool because like what they end up showing later is that she didn't think she would get attached to everybody, and the fact that she's like, yo, man, I can't believe I just dipped on these guys.
Because we know that Nami has an infatuation with treasure, like with money.
Mm-hmm. Well, you end up revealing later is like the only reason why she likes money so much. Well, I mean, she loves money regardless, but one of the reasons why she would like money so much is because she made that promise to, if I pay 100 million berries, you get the fuck out of my village, Arlong. And Arlong's like, all right, cool. 100
and berries the money system. And Arlong is the captain of the Arlong pirates.
Yes, sir.
That like took over the entirety of Nami's like home island and destroyed her hometown. And that's where we get like the saddest fucking backstory of Nami's adopted mother being killed by Arlong, and now Nami is beholden to like Arlong and his crew.
Bellemere, which I think was a. Did you like that backstory? I think it was really sad, honestly.
That shit choked me up. Yeah, I forgot honestly, like how sad it was.
Yeah, that shit was really sad. The fact that she was like, "Yo, I'm their mom. I don't give a fuck what you say. I ain't got the money for it, but I am their mom." And she got blasted.
It was fucking crazy, bro. Because we see like this frustration with Nami of being poor first before we see what it's really inside. So we're almost made to believe that, oh, she's just a little girl that's stealing. No, it's like she's stealing because they don't have any money. What was the girl's name?
Nami?
No, the mom.
Bellemere?
Bellemere adopted him because she found them at sea, her and her sister. Mm-hmm. And so she just took him in. And we find out that when the Arlong's pirates come into the town for the first time, they come as almost like as a loan shark, which I don't know if it's just like an inside joke there with like Arlong's character design.
With the being a shark. Yeah. Honestly, now that you point that out, I never noticed that, but that you point that out, that's kind of funny.
But he just decided to like have like request like protection money.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
from the entire town.
Like a property tax.
He's extorting people.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So, like, he's a fishman, which is an entire race in the One Piece universe of just, like, they're fish, but they live in the sea, but they're people and they have consciousness, but, like, they all look like a different like fish.
It reminded me of the second part of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah,
David Jones Locker.
Oh, yeah.
It's like that kind of. So there's an octopus dude, there's a shark, there's a stingray, there's... But anyways, so like Aldo was saying, he shows up, he's like, I need 100,000 berries per adult.
And 50,000 berries per kid, yeah. Which is, goddamn, man, that's a lot of...
And so, and Nami knowing she's poor, she's like, oh fuck, what the fuck are they gonna do? But Bellemere lives outside of town, and they're like, okay, maybe she'll be alright, whatever. Bellemere is cooking because Nami and Nojiko like ran off, and she's gonna make up her pissed off children by like cooking a bomb ass meal, and that's what gives her away. And then Arlong shows up, he's like, give me all your money. And so she gives him 100,000 berries, and she's like, you know what, that's for my daughters, that's not even for me because I can't protect myself. And the police officer for the town Genso had told Bellemere, like, hey, just say that's for you and we'll hide the girls, whatever.
But she owned up to it, which I thought was, man, that's why, like he said, I was choked up in that scene. I thought that was really intense. I was like, yo, and the fact that she broke her
arm. Oh, dude, that shit was crazy when she was stomping like on her forearm and she broke it, or like right here, her humerus.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know what
it's called. But, on that shit. But yeah, that shit was crazy. But yeah, the fact that the Nami was crying about is like, no, it's like, we're from here. He's the one that came here. It's like, why do I have to leave? Mm-hmm. And shit like that. So the girls like give out their location or something like that. It's like, yeah, that's for them, not for me. And she ends up getting shot by Arlong. Mm-hmm. And
she basically pays the 100,000 to pay for the girls, but since she didn't have the money to pay for herself, that's basically. Man, that's like I'm saying, like, was incredibly fucking sad. But that's when she ends up making the maybe the most fatal mistake she ever make. She ends up what was it? She's like, "Yo, Arlong, if I join you, you know, could you just leave the village alone?"
Well, the thing is that they found a map that she made because she was very into map making.
Cartography, yeah,
cartography. There you go. And they find a map of the island. They're like, "Hey, this is fucking good. Really you made it." Yeah. So they take the little girl,
and she's like, "Yo, if you leave the village alone, you know, and
I'll bite off from you."
She's like, eventually she makes the deal. Like, I'll buy the village 100 million berries. If I pay that, you know, you leave us the fuck alone.
So 8 years later, they put us at this point of the story where she steals the ship. She goes back to
Kokyoko Village?
Kokyoko Village? Kokoyashi Village. And everybody's like, fucked up. Like, what are you doing here? Did she go back? She went back.
Yeah, she went back. So she goes to Arlong Park, which is like Arlong's new base on the island.
Basically like a retired marine base, the way it looked.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
an old school Japanese marine base. It's basically like just retired.
Like a castle?
Yeah, kind of. And he just takes it over.
Yeah, that the pirates just took over. And that's where he like sets her up with the deal. And then she walks back and she's sad and she has like a wad full of cash. And she's like, look, guys, like, they gave me this. Isn't this money cool? Because Nami was so poor, she was stealing books on how to write cartography. So then what's his name? The like cop of the village,
Genzo.
Yeah, so Genzo like grabs her and he's like, "What's going on?" And now she has like the Arlong pirate tattoo, and Genzo's like, "Yo, what did you do? What is going on?" And she's like, "Don't worry, I made this deal. We're gonna be all right. This and that." And that's set. Like, she's like 8 years old at the time,
determined. Like,
dude, fuck determined, bro. Like, these pirates took her out of the village. That's why I really. Like, you guys say that it's not really piratey, but it is a little piratey.
Yeah, it's very piratey. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like still in kids. You know what I'm saying? Like,
everyone but the Straw Hats are real pirates.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just crazy that just to take this kid, tattoo this kid, and just make him like
imagine tattooing an 8-year-old with a pirate mark.
Like god damn, bro.
It reminds me a lot of that movie Waterworld. Did you ever watch that?
Oh, with what's his name? The guy from Dance with the Wolves, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, but I remember that movie. I know, I can't remember
the one that's like Mad Max, but in the ocean?
Yes.
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah. No. It's an old-ass movie.
Yeah. It reminded me of something like that. Yeah. And then it makes me think, it's like, did they get their idea from like old school, like 1994 fucking
maybe
One Piece?
This chapter would have come out in like 96 or something.
Something like that, somewhere around that time.
Right?
Yeah. Which I think is really cool because like how everybody gets how everybody gets introduced to Nami's character is they basically get shown that like, yo, she's actually a member of the Arlong Pirates.
She was an abused child.
Like, but what they see is that, yo, she's, because I think it was Zoro that gets captured first, and he ends up getting put in front of her.
He gets captured because Usopp's a dick.
Usopp.
So Luffy splits the crew, which happens like every arc, like for the past 1,000 chapters, Luffy just splits the crew.
They all get split up.
They just Scooby-Doo it up, and they're like, gang, you go that way, we'll go this way. and that happens all the time. This is like the arc we're on right now in the manga in chapter 1,000 is the first time in like 300 chapters that we have had the entirety of the Straw Hat crew in one location.
But they split up anyways.
Yeah, so this shut the fuck up. So this current arc, Luffy just him and Sanji and one of these two bros, Johnny, I think they're gonna go on one ship to go to the island to find Nami, and then he sends Zoro and Usopp with the other dude on another one, and they're just all gonna meet there because they all can't travel at the same location for some reason, right? So Usopp, being the chicken shit that he is, when he pulls up to the island full of all these dangerous fishermen, he's like, I'm out. He just literally jumps ship, goes on the island, and Zoro's just floating into Arlong Park by himself, tied up. And these fishermen are just like, what the fuck is this? Why do you have a samurai sword? What?
Yeah. And they just take him prisoner.
Yeah, they don't even know who he is. Because Zoro, the bounty hunter, is like famous in the entirety of the East Blue.
Mm-hmm. And that's when he ends up seeing Nami there, and he's just like, yo, wait a minute. I didn't know you were one of the Arlong pirates. And then I can't remember what the exchange was.
She's trying to hide it.
Yeah, she's trying to pretend
that she doesn't care.
That she doesn't care about him. And in order to prove that, she's like, bitch, I know you care about me. He jumps into the water. He's like, I'm going to drown myself.
He's tied up. He's going to drown.
He basically forces her hand in order to save him. And he's just like, I know you care about us. And yeah, sure enough, she's like, oh, God damn it. Takes off her sandals, jumps right into the water. Is like, I gotta save this guy. Which ends up later on showing that the Arlong pirates are like, yo, maybe this girl isn't really one of us. Yeah, isn't really one of us. Which is hilarious. And then later on, they end up showing, I think it's, who ends up getting captured next? Usopp, right? Usopp gets captured
that's why they're so stupid. Because they still have Zoro tied up, and they throw him into the dungeon, and then Nami just whispers in his ear like, "Yo, I'll break you out right now. Don't even trip."
Like, I'll come for you later. Don't even worry about it.
So Usopp is starting shit with fishmen in Kokoyashi Village.
He saves a random ass person, doesn't he? He's like, someone's getting fucked with by like random ass fishmen.
He saves Nami's sister.
Is it really Kyoko? He saves her?
Yeah,
he saves her.
It's that little
Nojiko, right?
It's that little boy that's in the village, and then he thinks Usopp's so ugly that he's a fishman.
Oh yeah.
So he's like, "Oh, get the fuck out of here, fishman!" And he's like, "No, I'm a human. Stop!" And then the real fishman shows up because he's looking for Usopp because he saw him jump off the ship, and that's where Nami's sister is like, "Yo, get the fuck back here! Get the fuck back here!" And that's when Usopp shoots because he. We haven't even talked about it. Usopp's goal is to be the best sniper in the world.
Well, his goal is to be a brave warrior of the seas, by any means. You know what I mean? Any means, that's it.
Which basically means if Zoro wants to be the best swordsman, that Usopp wants to be the best.
Because his little power is his slingshot. And he has different kind of like little bombs.
Yeah,
one of them
which is
smoke.
great, honestly.
It's like Batman, pretty much.
It's just Usopp literally just fights with a slingshot.
Like go gadget, catch a ball. Go gadget.
It gets worse, bro. Yeah. He's still fighting.
But I'm not even gonna lie, dog, because later on he's
telling you,
he's a good tactician.
I'm telling you when. Because he is a chicken shit. Like, up to this point, he's still a chicken shit.
He literally abandoned Zoro to go die.
Yeah.
He was afraid of some fish.
But I just like his redemption. His redemption was cool, man. I liked it. I don't know.
He grows on you, I'll tell you that much. He does.
You know what I'm saying?
He gets like it's because by the time you get to Water 7, like,
I'm telling you, man,
Usopp is like
so hard.
So, okay, since we're talking about Usopp, I'm just gonna go on this tangent quickly. There's a certain point that every saga turns into Luffy having to prove to a member of the crew that he's really about them. Mm-hmm. So, like, he ends up fighting Usopp, gets his ass kicked by Usopp, he gets his ass kicked by Sanji. He has to... we get a historian / translator later.
Zoro at one time, but I mean, as a joke, but he still fights him.
But Zoro hasn't had like an arc like that though. Sanji had like an arc where Sanji was like, you know what? I'm gonna go hang out with my bum ass dad and fuck you, Luffy. I'm gonna give you
like, nah, you gotta beat me.
I'm gonna give you, I'm gonna give you 3 black eyes, suck my dick, and it's just an entire arc of Luffy being like, you know what, Sanji, we'll get your dick sucked. Don't worry about it, bro. Like, why are you so upset right now?
You just wanted to get laid with you.
Yeah. We'll dock. Don't trip, bro. But literally, so this is like the Luffy one, the Usopp one is like the most famous of those. The like reintroduction of like real Usopp is like when that trope first starts taking place, and that's like what CJ keeps talking about is like Usopp's character gets better. That's where like he just like erases that chicken shit. Like,
one thing you'll notice too is like, you know how he's always full of lies, right? He's full of shit. Mm-hmm. He always says things. He over exaggerates. Like he was talking about for example, that one island. He was like, oh my god, it was. I defeated fish that were so they're
so big. I was standing on their shit.
Yeah, their shits are so big. It was like an island.
Yeah,
I'm telling you. Later on, there's like a quick description about it, but his lies basically come to fruition later on, and it's crazy how they do. It's so funny, man. It's
and you guys said like, why you like Usopp? It's like, yeah, I like Usopp.
Usopp gets better. I'm not gonna lie. Early Usopp is like,
I cannot stand early Usopp.
Early Usopp.
I feel like even when I was a kid, I might have almost stopped watching the show just because of early Usopp. Like, I cannot stand
early Usopp
him.
is fun. I mean, if you watch the English one, his voice actor is the voice actor of Krillin. So it's like, oh my god, he's basically characteristics of like Krillin. It's like, God, this
Good thing you didn't tell me this before watching it, because then I wouldn't have stopped hearing like Dragon Ball Z characters. Because now that I think about it, there's a lot of Dragon Ball Z characters.
There is a lot of Dragon Ball Z characters in it.
And where was I going with this? Yeah, he's cool. And
Usopp gets captured.
Usopp
does get captured
by the Arlong pirates.
It's because there's this dumbass thing where fucking Zoro
Nami
gets
breaks
free.
off Zoro.
Breaks off Zoro. He tricks the octopus man Chin, or yeah, right, Hachi into taking him back into town, while Usopp is coming into the fortress, right? Or something like that.
So Usopp like gets his shit together and he's just, I got you, Zoro, I got you.
I'm gonna come
and Zoro's
save
already
you.
dead because this dumb fish.
That happens a lot, man. They always like, I'm gonna come save you, and then they're already gone. It's like, oh, for the love
like how
of God.
like how I was telling you, the crew splits up all the time. It stays like that. There will be like islands worth of being like, okay, we gotta go here to meet up with Sanji's part of the crew. They get there, Sanji's already like long gone.
He's like, oh, I thought you guys were already at fucking Long John Silver's over here.
It stays like that. And that's kind of why I really like One Piece, because like it's like rewarding. It's like fan service without the fan service, because you're being rewarded for knowing things from the beginning, right? Like when Sanji does something for a girl, or like he's super about his food to the point that he gets in a dumbass fight, you're like, okay, that's in Sanji's character. Like, it's rewarding to you to be able to internalize like who these people really are
from the beginning.
You get that payoff, because like, bro, this has been going on for 25 years since 96. And Oda can still be like, no. Like, he knows better than the fan base, because there's a million, like, explanations or, like, what people want to see. And, like, he'll write the opposite. But when you think about it, it's like, oh, okay. Like, he does know it's because this is really what would happen in this scenario, not what would be cool in my fucking head. Like, this is what actually would happen.
Speaking of, I like the little plot twist when Usopp gets captured. What did you think about when Nami stabs him? I straight up thought Nami stabbed him. I was like, yo, what the fuck? I was like, oh my god.
That shit was cool, bro, because I was like, oh no, she has the knife. And she just like, bam, into the gut. And yeah, he just lets him drown.
In the anime,
I knew he wasn't going to be dead, obviously, as an anime watcher. You know he's not dead, but like, just to see it happen, you're like,
how's he gonna get out of it?
In the manga, I think it's in the anime. I can't, to be honest, I can't remember, because I remember just like skimming through that part. But in the manga, what she does is she actually puts her hand like on Usopp's stomach and just like stabs.
That's how it's in the anime.
Oh, is it really? Okay, yeah. I couldn't remember.
She shows up to Bellamir's old house and she needs to have her hand bandaged.
If you ever notice, like throughout the episode, she has a glove over her hand. I didn't notice it till like later on, but she has a glove over her hand because she stabbed herself, and it doesn't get revealed till later on that she's like, yo, I didn't actually really stab Usopp. I just stabbed my hand, made it seem like I did. And it's like, yo, play along. And that's why when he saw the blood, he was like, oh, okay, I get what you're doing. And he faked dead. Which I thought was pretty crazy. I'm not going to lie. When you see it, it's like, whoa, holy shit.
His ability not his ability, but his like compulsive line. His compulsive line is like, oh, I know what you're trying to do. It's like,
this is something I would have thought of. Yeah. Right? Heck yeah. I can just play dead.
So Usopp's not dead. That's when Luffy gets into the fortress?
I think it's later on. I think they should reveal that Nami reveals later on, kind of stupidly, she reveals that she's like, yo, Arlong, I almost have enough money to pay you off. You're almost fucking out of here, bitch. But then he's just like, all right, cool. Since you revealed that to me, he ends up hiring those crooked-ass Marines, like I said.
Hold on. That is after Luffy shows up. So,
Luffy does show up.
Sanji and Luffy and one of the brothers is on this ship.
Yasuku?
Yasuku or Johnny, one of the two. And so Sanji cooks a meal, and the fishmen have an Emperor of the Sea, like what ate Shanks' arm in episode 1, except it's a cow.
It was funny. I thought it was funny.
It's a giant cow fish.
Like Mumu or something like that.
Mumu.
Yeah, his name's literally Mumu, and like he's gonna try to attack like Luffy and Sanji because he smells their food, and so it's just Luffy just went, oh shit, a giant cow, and just punches it in the face. And then it's Sanji being like, you know what? Nah, don't hit the poor cowfish. I'm gonna feed it, and he grabs a plate, he just starts kicking him. He's like, You're trying to eat this fucking food I ate, you stupid cowfish. It starts beating the shit out of him.
And like the fucking cow just gets all scared and shit, and like somehow they fucking like reeled her into like pushing or like pulling the boat, so they're just like jetting into the Arlong Park.
They basically overpower. It's like, all right, now you're working for us now. Like,
and then Luffy shows up, and at this point, we think that Nami killed Usopp, but Usopp is really out of town, and then we get Zoro back in there because Zoro wasn't back in town, so he ran back into the fortress.
Right, so he's running back towards Arlong Park from the city, and that's where like the ship that's just rocketing forward like goes through the whole ass island, and that's where Luffy just on the ship that's going through land is just like, oh shit, it's Zoro, like,
what's going on?
Oh fuck, there he is.
Oh yeah, and then the whole thing exposition with Nami comes out, and he gets upset and he starts walking off.
Yeah.
Like he just starts walking off, comes across two fishermen, but he doesn't even flinch. He just walks through them. And how the fuck does he get mad later on?
Hachi tried talking shit to him or something.
Because I think Nami at this point, the Marines come and they steal the money.
Yeah, that's when Arlong, exactly. That's when Arlong is just like, yo, I need you to go and just like take her money away from her, and so they're just like, yo,
and I'll give you 30%.
Yeah, he's like, I heard there's 100,000 berries here. We need to take that shit, and that's when Nami kind of basically puts it together, like
100 million.
100 million berries. Yeah, that's when Nami puts it together, like, yo, this motherfucker sent these guys over here. So that's when Nami goes back and confronts them, and that's when Arlong basically
she starts stabbing at her tattoo.
Oh yeah, she's basically trying to remove that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
and fucking we just see Luffy's hand like stopping her like stabby hand, and he's like, what's wrong, blah blah. It's like she's a very prideful at the beginning, and then
she's been telling him throughout the whole thing, like, yo, I don't fucking need you guys. You guys need to get out of here.
And then at this point, she's just crying. She's like, please help me, Luffy. He's like, please help me.
What'd you think about it in that moment?
I mean, good writing, dude. Like I said, this is so easy to watch, but at some points, I'm like,
when I first saw that, man, I was getting teary-eyed.
And then
I was like,
this Straw Hat that he really cares for, and once told Nami to get her dirty hands off of it, so I puts it on her head and was like, don't worry. I was like, I got you.
I think Nami might be the only person he's put the straw hat on, bro. Like, literally.
On himself, I think so. Usually he might, like, just, like, someone else might save it on because it's, like, flying off or something.
Yeah, like, nobody else wears it except for Nami in this one part. Because, like, he'll get in a fight and it'll fly off or something and somebody will grab it, but nobody wears it.
But Nami.
But Nami. Like, in this one part. And that's why this part is, like, even now, like, so fucking epic. Like, because you're right. That's Luffy being like, staple, you're my Namika, bro. Like, you're my family. He literally you have like, this issue, then I'm going to take care of it. Like, stop crying. I'll like, I got you. And it's, like, it's still like that. 900 chapters later.
Did you like the fight of Luffy and Arlong?
Well, hold on, because we get to Arlong Park and we have the two big bros guarding the entrance because the village decides, because the village Genzo tells Nami that they knew all along what she was doing.
What she was up to, yeah.
But they didn't want to tell her because she would think she would be guilted into doing it or something like that.
Which breaks it down psychologically.
Which it doesn't break it out. But I would like to mention the pinwheel he has on his hat. Luffy sees it and he's like, he's like inspired by it. And
that's what I was saying earlier. He incorporates a lot of things that he sees throughout his like everyday world.
And then, the fucking town decides to storm Arlong Park, but we have our crew already there, and the two bros are like, no, it's like, you guys are not gonna go in there. It was like, the crew got it.
I'm not gonna lie, that walk, it's basically stapled as the walk to Arlong Park, like the walk when they get together. Everybody's just ready to go. They were just ready for the word from the captain, like, all we need is the go ahead to go, and we're ready to whoop some ass.
And that's what's fun.
That was intense, man.
That's what's cool about it, because Zoro's still all cut up from Mihawk, just like showboating, just cutting him through the center. Sanji's been ready. Sanji hasn't been in a fight yet. He's barely part of this crew, and there's all this fucking drama.
Especially the fact that it's for Nami. He's like, yo, I'm even more heated up because this is for Nami. I'm
like this about a girl.
He's like, this is the reason why I'm on the damn crew. And
even the big bros even say is like, don't worry. The guy is like, why would they do that? It's like, well, they made Nami cry.
Yeah,
like that's reason. That's reason enough. That's reason enough. So fucking Sanji and
Sanji.
I mean Sanji and that's from NNG.
Shenji.
But anyways, Sanji and Zoro are distracting the fucking, or they're trying to fight the initial group of fucking Arlong, which is Hachi. Chu ends up fucking going out with Usopp.
Yeah.
That's a fight that I really like from
Yeah,
fucking
that fight was
Usopp.
because he manned the fuck up in order to whoop his ass. I'm not gonna lie.
And then Sanji fights the big man ray looking guy.
The karate one.
The karate
I can't remember
one.
the karate guy's name, but yeah, he's the one that uses like because eventually you'll see it later on. It gets incorporated. He uses, I think it was like the 1,000 fist, karate, like the 1,000 brick fist, something like that. He uses
Something
karate
like
in order
that,
to fight
yeah.
him. But yo, that's a testament to Sanji's strength to fight a fishman underwater and win. That's really impressive.
Not win. Well, he didn't win underwater.
Well, yeah, he eventually he outsmarted him underwater to blow. That's quick fucking thinking.
Yeah, he outsmarted him. Yeah,
that's quick thinking. That means to blow.
No,
into the gills. How
yeah.
can you
So
not
what ends up
think of that?
happening? Luffy decides he's gonna try a new move, which is the fucking Goma Goma no pinwheel.
They end up calling the cow back, but the cow sees who the fuck is there. He's
And
just
like,
nah,
oh shit, I don't want nothing to do
yeah.
with these guys. And that's when eventually he ends up. Luffy's like, yo, I got an idea. Let me just
He
stomp
ends up,
my feet
he ends
real
up
quick.
stomping his feet in the concrete, which he gets stuck after his
Stuck.
move. So Arlong ends up breaking around it and throwing him in the ocean.
water.
Right. So Luffy's feet are
His
stuck in
one
concrete because he wanted to spin around in his rubber and punch everybody.
Which is a
So
cool move, honestly.
he knows Arlong's smart enough to be like, oh, okay, he ate a devil fruit, so he can't swim, and he loses his strength and powers underwater.
Water.
So he just, like you were saying, just dumps him with his feet stuck in concrete to the bottom of this little sea. So and then the rest of the episode is Sanji trying to break Luffy out of the
saves
concrete.
Day. I mean, if it wasn't for Sanji, Luffy wouldn't have gotten out of the stump. So basically, Sanji saved the day for everybody because he broke Luffy out of that.
Well, but Zoro was fucked up. Because even Arlong, when he fucking got him in the fucking big old hand chokehold, and he took off his shirt for some reason,
and he saw the
and
bandages.
he sees like a 3 feet
slash on
3 feet
across his
slash
chest.
across his chest and just like bleeding out everywhere.
And he's just like, yo, how the fucking
Previously to that, he had defeated the Hachi, the octopus guy. In the octopus guy, when Sanji decides to go down and break that rock on Luffy's feet, the octopus guy goes back to him, and then Zoro's just like, "You shouldn't move when you have fresh wounds" or something like that.
Oh, and then he ends up hitting him with like
He's like, "What?"
aftermath
And
attack.
then Arlong is like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" It's like, "You're the one bleeding out over here." It's like, "I wasn't talking about me." It's like,
about Hachi,
I'm talking about your boy.
Yeah.
And then Hachi was about to like kill the girl, the sister, or something like
Nojiko,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, and like he just like spazzes out and like bleeds everywhere.
That's when they say
then-
if you're hurt, don't move.
And then at this point they start throwing like "son of a bitch" here and "you bitch" there.
I like
and then,
that they throw goddamn and all that
yeah,
shit.
like at this point, like I hadn't heard that like throughout the whole anime. I was like, okay. And then it's funny because my girl's like, I like this anime. It doesn't have any fan service.
Yo, there's like fan service throughout that shit way later on.
It got more fan servicey because now like Nami is just straight fan service. Navi hasn't had any character redeeming stuff happen to her
I think
in
she'll
like
have
years.
some eventually later on. I think it'll eventually arise. She has to. I mean, she is very fan servicey. I can't even lie.
It's been
This
like
is his favorite
10
character.
years since Nami had anything substantive happen to her. Like right now, Nami and there's one other girl on the crew. They're just straight fan service at this point because whenever they go to a new island, they get like an outfit change. So then, like the big question every time they get an outfit change is like, oh, what do Nami and Robin's costumes look like this time?
Always tries to draw them in like the most like promiscuous
Skimpy.
type, yeah, like the promiscuous type like of outfits. It's just hilarious. It's funny. It's hilarious. It's like a funny running ass gag because I mean, hey, they're fine as hell. So it's like they're good ass characters to draw like that. So, but like you said, I think Nami is one of his favorite characters to draw. If I'm not mistaken.
I found the name of the Manta Ray guy.
What is it?
His name is Karubi.
Karubi, there you go. Yeah, because he uses the brick fist.
He reminds me
like,
of what's that
karate
guy
types.
from Street Fighter? The Japanese guy, the sumo guy.
The fat one, the fat chubby ass dude.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but anyways, then we see the fight that I really like from Usopp with Mr. Shu.
Mr. Shu back
which
there.
is like a little squid guy, I think.
So he shoots ink.
Yeah, he shoots ink and not water, right?
And
he does
water,
He
yeah,
does
he's
the
just like
water
a water
blast.
bullet, yeah.
Yeah, so fucking Usopp pretends to be dead because he has a ketchup pellet for his slingshot, and and he uses it on himself, and he looks like he's all fucked up. And the water guy decides to start walking off, and this is when we have the little redemption kind of arc when he's like, oh, I'm gonna tell him that he got me a couple of times, but he got away, or I fought till I couldn't anymore.
Like he's already making up scenarios in his head of the lie he's gonna tell like his crewmates when he gets back on why he lost.
But then he realizes like, yo, I can't do that to my boys. I can't do that to them.
And then he goes charging at this fucking guy and uses a smoke pellet, but this will just go straight through and like punches this regular human in the fucking oversized nose. Oversized nose are probably broken 5 places, and then just knocks him out. And then I don't know, he just goes into this very like Home Alone kind of thing. Oh, I'm gonna dodge this, and I like when he fakes him out with a rubber band and he like gets away because he like chews all like scared and he's like what?
Yo, but that's outsmarting him, hitting him with the alcohol and then hitting him with the fire.
Yeah,
he's like, yo, I'm telling you, man, he's a good tactician, man.
But the funny thing is that he fell in water right after that, like right before he got he got doused with alcohol, and then he fell in water, and then he got lit on fire after.
It's anime though, don't
I know. But I thought it was really cool because he's just like Usopp hammer, Usopp hammer, Usopp hammer.
He's just beating this dude in the head.
And he's like, yo, I mean business, brother. I'm gonna beat your ass.
And he just beats him in the fucking head, and he's like, fuck yeah, I can go back. I can tell him that I beat him.
I won.
Yeah, and he just goes back, but at this point, like everybody's fucked up. But we get Sanji to break the fucking rock.
Comes back, ends up whooping, what was his name? What was his name again? Kyobu?
Kurobi, yeah. Oh, yeah, and he kicks him around. Yeah.
He ends up hitting him with the... One thing I love about Sanji's moves is that he names them after like food pallets and stuff like that, and when he's like doing his kicks, it's hilarious, man.
Mutton chop.
Yeah, like type shit like that. Or, oh man, it's hilarious, bro. Or like party table type. Oh, bro, that's so funny, man.
That's funny.
Yeah. So it's like how you were saying, because he's a fisherman, he has both human lungs and gills.
Ends up going into his gills.
Yeah, so when Karubi's underwater kicking his ass, like Sanji just breathes like air into his gills so that he suffocates.
I'm gonna one up you. I'm gonna just blow air into your gills, ends up making you, because we're both gonna have to breathe at that point, which is. That's clutch, because I wouldn't have even thought of that, to be honest. I would have just...
Well, that's one of the things they tell you, to either punch a shark in the snout or punch him
into its gills.
Or reach into their gills.
I can understand the gills part, but how the hell are you gonna throw a punch in the water, man?
Like if you're gonna punch them, the fucking mouth is just gonna open and like eat your fist.
What's the point of that?
Okay, so Luffy's back. He's broken out of the rocks.
Luffy's back,
and he just tosses Arlong for a little bit. He just hits him with all the known moves we've seen.
With a pistol.
One thing I like is like the funny gags, how you said, because. One thing I like, because I think Oda even says himself, is like, he's like, I'm not very good at drawing fights, but I'm good at storytelling. But his fights get down, to be honest. But the gags that they have when he's like, you know how Arlong ends up biting him with his teeth, and he's like, yo, my teeth, I can bite pillars and shit. And he's like, yo, I'm gonna use your teeth and put it in my mouth, and I'm gonna bite your ass back, bro. I love the funny gags that they like intertwine into the fights.
Yeah, because the bros are even like, hey, I don't think that's very sanitary.
Yeah, I don't think that's like very funny. I don't think that saves it to that.
And this guy just have this other guy's like teeth in his ass.
Well, that's part of him being a shark too, which is why like it's kind of smart, because it's like, oh yeah, sharks can grow their teeth back, so like of course he would if he's a superpowered shark.
Which is cool, because later on he ends up using a move, I think it was like shark darts or something like that, when he ends up popping out of the water. Since he's a shark, he's able to like, I can swim pretty fast, turbo jet his ass into Luffy and shit like that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I like that a lot. When I first saw him in the wanted poster in the bounty, I thought he was like a mosquito man.
With his like weird ass long nose.
Yeah. Like his little stinger kind of thing. But yeah, it was cool. Like the character design, I guess, yeah, he's like big and scary.
What I think is cool about Arlong is that he's a shark fishman. And pretty much every time we meet a fishman from here on out, like the strongest fishmen are like part shark. Like there's another like big boss, even though he's not that strong.
They actually mention him when they talk about the warlords, is Jinbei. Because he's one of the warlords at this point in the story. He's like one of the warlords.
He's a whale shark.
He's a whale shark, yeah.
And there's another like main villain later that's like a great white shark.
Oh yeah, Horty Jones?
Yeah, Horty Jones. And so, and that's what's cool about it too, because Arlong's character design in all the Arlong pirates is, so we know the Arlong tattoo looks like a hammerhead almost, except it's just like a straight nose, shark.
The saw,
yeah, like a
saw nose shark.
Yeah, right. So it's a saw nose shark design, but all these pirates also have like a sun tattoo on them. And they don't even explain that until like 10 years fucking later when they explain who the fuck the Sun Pirates are. And the Sun Pirates were just a legendary fishman pirate crew that all these guys were obviously originally a part of, and that's why they all have like sun tattoos on them. So the Arlong Pirates is just like at this point, like weaker of like the Sun Pirate like leftovers that made their own pirate crew.
Basically that like scattered in it, that did their own thing and stuff like that.
And the only reason I bring that up, not to be spoilery, but to talk about how, like, Oda's writing style, what CJ's talking about, like, he's really good at writing. Like, he is setting up reveals 10 years in the future. You get
That's impressive, man. Like, to write something, like, yo, I'm going to write something now. By the time I reveal it, like,
for 10 years,
they're going to think this shit's fire in 2006.
Years, yeah, man. And like, bro, by the time they read this, they're going to... fucking minds blown. And I'm not gonna lie, by the time I read stuff like that, it's like, yo, holy shit, bro, the way that this guy is able to...
Because it's in the character design. We don't realize it. Like, we're just like, oh, why does he have a sun tattoo? Like, weird, whatever.
You don't really have to pay attention to, like, big things, because, like I said, they reiterate a lot of things. So, like, they like how you said at the beginning, like, oh my god, this shit just happened 10 seconds ago, and they flash back at that. They re-emphasize a lot of things to show you, like, yo, this is probably gonna play big later on, and then it ends up doing playing.
He was telling me, and actually, I think we were talking about this on the last episode, that whenever he has a question about a new chapter that come out, and then they show a flashback, he has to ask you about the flashback.
Well, it's because when you're reading the manga chapter, it doesn't give you the flashback, right? So then I end up having to hit up CJ and be like, dog, I don't know who the fuck this character is. Like, because he always does that. He reintroduces a character that we saw in chapter 600. I'm on chapter 950. I'm like, I don't know who this is. And all the characters are like, it's you. We haven't seen you in so long. And I'm just like, who the fuck is this? Like,
and it's like, yo, don't you remember this guy from this time? And it's
like, so I need like 10 layers of explanation just to read like chapter 986. Like, what the fuck? Like,
man, it's such a I'm telling you, I love his storytelling in this show.
And then when we have that fight with Arlong and Luffy, they end up like busting it into what it was Nami's old room when she was a child there, right? And we see that Nami has been putting in work on a lot of charts, a lot of maps of a lot of different parts of the world already, and Arlong was going to use it to be like the super like fish Nazi.
Let me tell you something. But hold on, let me tell you something. Like, the stuff that she did, mind you, she's been doing that since she's a little girl, and that's only,
for 8 years she's been doing
that's only what she's been available to see, and there's more to the world. And did you see how many papers were in there? That's like, bro.
Arlong explains it. It's like, to us fishermen, this is the most valuable thing because they can travel in the water. So them knowing where the currents are, where the underwater structures are, like, that's the most important piece to them. And Luffy sees that, and him being like the anti-fascist that he is.
Well, the fact that Arlong said she's like, I'm going to use her as a tool, because like, I mean, she's like the best tool to have. And
this is like working slavery for her.
Yeah, he's like, yo, so Luffy's down with that.
And I think this is what's working Luffy, because Arlong keeps mentioning like, oh, I'm going to use her for this, I'm going to use her for that. I already used her for this. What would you use her for? And like, he's like, user. Yeah, what the fuck? Like, user is like, nah, she's my friend. And that's when
Nakama, man.
Like the whole shit.
Yeah, so he just destroys the room. Yeah, he just whole ass just starts punching and destroying charts and shit.
Pistol shit in the water.
When they show the desk, because like when Nami, she's like, holy shit.
Like, he's destroying what my prison cell.
Yeah, exactly what my cell was. Like, holy shit.
And Arlong's just like, this is more valuable to me than all that money she promised me. Like, what the fuck? Like, no, absolutely not.
When he snapped his nose, I was like, holy shit. I was like,
because we saw that Zoro try to fucking
with his
cut
sword,
his nose.
He couldn't even do that. And he just comes out like, I'm gonna break this shit, man. I was like, yo, that's impressive.
And that's where like the fight really turns, because Luffy's been getting his ass kicked for a little bit, but now that Luffy's like pissed the fuck off that Arlong's just been like abusing his friend Nami like this, he's that's it. Like, you're done. Like, you're dead.
The battle axe. Did you like that finishing move? Whooped his ass.
Oh yeah, with that big like 12 to 6, like heel kick down there.
Yeah,
like,
he
bro,
launches his foot, and that's that elastic tension I was talking about. He just launches his foot 100 feet in the air
And just brings it back.
brings it the
Imagine
fuck
just
back
getting hit
down.
with the rubber
Oh,
band.
that would hurt so
Man.
bad. That would hurt. And like, what's cool about that is all of Luffy's attacks stay the same.
Mm-hmm.
Except, like, it adds that hockey system I was talking about.
Yeah,
so,
like they get accentuated.
so when Luffy uses hockey now, because it's armor, it's fucking magical will armor, he can increase his elasticity tension. So you see Luffy in hockey launch his foot 100 feet in the air. It's like 100 times more like elasticity. So when it comes back down, like you're fucking
Like a rubber band with a marble at the end of it.
Even worse.
It's like when you freeze a rubber band and it gets hard. It's like that.
Okay.
That shit's gonna come whoop your ass, man.
But yeah, so
And that's when he declares. That's when he declares after he
Battle
stomps
axe,
that-
right?
Yeah,
Gum battle axe?
Gum battle axe stomps the man through like, it was
He-
like 6 floors of hell.
he breaks like the entire castle, and
That's when he declares, it's like, yo, Nami, I'm gonna fucking knock him, my man.
because his idea was that if I can't beat you, I can destroy Nami's cell, you know, which was the entire castle, and that's what he does. Because we don't even know if he really beat Arlong or not.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he stomped the shit. I think he whooped his ass.
Yeah. Well, but like, I'm pretty sure he comes back. Does he come back?
No.
No? Oh, he's dead.
No, he's not dead.
He's
I think at this point he's captured, but he's
Yeah, basically what ends up happening
KO'd.
is because like the joke is that the Navy is always like 2 steps behind Luffy because they're just being dumbasses and doing whatever and going to whatever island. But the joke is they'll make a bunch of fucking mess and like the Navy's 2 islands back and they're like, oh fuck, we got to get to that other island to catch up with the bullshit the Straw Hat Pirates just did.
Yeah, because even mousy looking.
He's a rat.
Yeah,
Oh, dude, I can't stand that
That rat marine, he even puts a bounty on this guy's, but like that guy that receives the order, he's like, all right, well, I'll check it and I'll let you know whenever we can make it official or something like that. But like the other guy is like super like, no, we gotta put a blah 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 on this.
It's
and that."
crazy with his first bounty. What was his first bounty?
I don't
30
even-
million or something.
Yeah, like-
it was like very. Oh man,
And that means nothing because right now Luffy's worth like billions
man.
of
It's
berries.
wild.
Like there comes to a certain point that, like CJ was talking about, your bounty's supposed to be like your threat level to the government. We're like at,
Where would you
we're
stand
at
at that
levels that
point?
are so
Yeah.
high, like it doesn't matter what their bounty is.
they're
Like,
basically at the point where it's like the government's like, yo, you're so strong, we have to work with you because we can't beat you at this point. Like we have to work.
like we just accept that like the Yonko exists.
Yeah.
Because like the Navy can't fight one Yonko crew because they just have the power of the world government like in one pirate crew.
Bro,
so
you'll
it's just
see-
like whatever. Like
You'll eventually see the strength of these fucking Yonkos, man. They're crazy. But yeah,
and in the current arc, Luffy is fighting multiple Yonkos at once. Like
oh man, I can't wait for that shit.
So very fucking touching moment with fucking Nami
Luffy
because
and Nami.
because Nami is seeing like her prison cell for 8 years destroyed. He's seen the
her captor's knocked out and got his ass kicked.
Yeah,
Yo, my
the-
village is resting.
the people that were extorting my village, like she's so happy about it. And he was a little weird kind of ended because she just tells her whole village that she's not going to say bye after having this whole ass feast, and then they make a whole dramatic like jump into the ship.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is because in the very next Dressrosa
She
arc,
ends up robbing him, doesn't she? She ends up like stealing all their wallets.
Yeah.
but in the Dressrosa arc, we even get another character that everyone swore at the time was going to be part of the crew. Just the way things have been going, everyone just swore that she was going to be part of the crew, and it's super like a lackadaisical ending to the point that like the crew just kind of just dips in like one gesture of a moment, and so that's how it stays. Kind of like they don't dwell too long on like, oh, we're never going to see you again. This is that. They just,
that's good.
They just treat it like we will see you
Wait, you mean
again.
the Alabasta
What-
arc?
Huh?
The Alabasta arc? Wait,
Yeah, the Alabasta. I said Dressrosa.
Yeah, I was
excuse
like,
me.
wait.
the Alabasta arc. There's this chick,
Vivi.
Vivi.
We'll see it later on.
Princess Vivi that everyone swore was going to be like part of the crew, and they
I
just
think to this
leave
day-
without saying anything.
I
They
think to
just
this
like
day she's a straw hat member, bro. By spirit, my guy, she's a straw hat.
but everyone is by like that. Everyone
No.
that fought
I
on,
think her out of anybody, she can declare herself as an official member.
everyone that fought on Dressrosa.
No, because like despite for example, like the fleet, they're just followers. But
Right.
no, I think she can actually officially declare herself as.
She's a
member.
princess. She can't be a pirate.
I mean, hey, she can do whatever she wants.
So that is about the end of the East Blue saga of One Piece.
Well, I think where you leave off is where they go to Logtown, but that's later on.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's where Luffy gets kidnapped.
Yeah, that's where.
Where Luffy gets kidnapped, and that's where we meet Dragon without introducing him as Dragon.
I'm waiting for you to see when Zoro gets his swords back. Yeah.
No, he gets new swords.
Yeah, 2 new swords.
Oh yeah, you told me about that when you got here. But that was what we saw of One Piece. I just went a couple more episodes more in. Do you guys have anything else to talk about One Piece?
I'm really glad that when I saw you, you were just like, yo, One Piece is
dude. I put it up because I didn't think I could get into like a piracy theme, which it's not, but it is. I don't know.
It's very pirate. Well, I mean, the main goal is to get the treasure at the end of the.
And it's so easy to watch, man. It's so easy to watch. This is an anime that an intro level anime fan would have to watch.
Yeah, I think so because it's easy. It's like you said, it's easy to watch. The flow of it is just like really, really.
The
good.
thing about its significance even is like it's the most popular manga ever. I mean, ever. No manga's ever come close to as many chapters, made as much money, like sold as much plushes, made as many DVDs, had as many episodes of their anime. Like nothing has ever made this much money. Like I remember a couple of years ago even seeing like they rank what is it like trademarks and stuff or like named characters or like so like Mickey Mouse is up there, you get what I mean, like SpongeBob is like a known profitable character. One Piece is like top 3 most profitable franchises like ever.
I think it was in the New York Times when they hit chapter 1000. They actually showcased One Piece in the New York Times. I was like, yo, I didn't think it was that like prominent here in the West. I was like, holy crap! Because I mean, they showed I think it was like a picture. It was an art. It was a whole article in a New York Times article, and it was just there. One Piece, like, yo, Oda hit chapter 1000. Like, holy shit! I was like, yo,
who did the dub for this anime?
Funimation.
And that's that's the studio that develops it too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean,
basically like DBZ and all that.
I didn't see the 4Kids, whatever you guys told me.
Don't watch
that shit was ass.
Don't watch that, man. I mean, watch it if you like want to hate the show for the rest of your life, probably. But I mean, it's funny for like the shits and gags because it's bro. I don't know why I don't know why somebody saw it and they were like, yo, send this out.
I thought it was funny. I thought the anime was awesome. I thought it was easy to watch. It's what I wanted from Dragon Ball Z without knowing what I wanted from Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, I get you.
It's just clear, like, this is what like a shonen framework needs to be. Because a lot of the issues, especially with current shonen even, is that, like, the pacing's really weird. So you watch Black Clover, the anime adaptation, it's like, it's so fast-paced, which is, like, the opposite to One Piece, to the point that, like, it's hard to get emotionally invested.
Because One Piece is a lot of world building. It expands a lot. You have to like really envelop into the world a lot.
And I think I don't know. I guess it's like maybe like a fast money scheme. Like, oh shit, I need to write something as good as One Piece, but in shorter terms. Like, no, dude, like take your time, tell us a story instead of just fucking
25 years. This man is telling us his story.
Yeah, and he's still like dedicated to this, because you can, for things like that have been long running that we've watched, like Hunter x Hunter, for example, it's clear that like the author just got tired of it, kind of, because especially for Hunter x Hunter, he had Yu Yu Hakusho, which had hundreds of chapters. He gets to Hunter x Hunter, which is going to be like thousands of chapters, and at a certain point he's just over it. He's over his own world building. But Oda is just like, he gets an idea and he still like sticks with it. Like,
I love that he's consistent with it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's crazy. I liked it.
I'm just really... man, you don't understand how happy I am that you were like, yo, I like this show. I was like, yo, yes.
It was easy to watch. It's good. It reminded me when I was watching Hunter x Hunter, you know?
Yeah.
We always welcome more to the One Piece.
Because we're always talking about this, that we will watch a certain anime and it's a little exhausting, and then when you watch something as light as One Piece and Hunter x Hunter, it just feels nice.
It's like a breeze.
Yeah.
It's like you're on an adventure, man. Going with them.
But overall, I guess we all liked. Well, me and you, CJ, we love One Piece. We're like invested in One Piece. Aldo seems to have genuinely liked One Piece.
I'm glad that you did. I really am.
I think we're at a really good point. We got into some details without being too spoilery, like no big reveals or anything like that.
I like the conversation we had today because even though you guys talked about some shit that I haven't even seen, I'm glad that I watched this many episodes so I can understand the world.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I'm telling you, if you do decide to.
See, the thing is that we got the podcast, so anytime that I'm watching anime is because of something for the podcast.
Right. So if anybody listening right now wants us to continue further on One Piece, and maybe we bring CJ back and watch more episodes, discuss the Alabasta arc, or even stuff like that, like hit us up, give us your feedback on our email, betweennerdspodcast@gmail.com. Hit us up on Twitter or Instagram @betweennerds. And we'll take it into consideration. We take everything into consideration. Valentin, who's on next week, hit us up because he wants one of our previous giveaway winners to come back for a Darling in the Franxx discussion, which we have it under consideration, maybe well into the future. But anyways, my point is just hit us up. We listen to everything. We take all input into consideration because this is like a community podcast. Like this isn't just
us talking about my shit.
Yeah, and I think that's all we have to say about One Piece. Nerd down?
Nerd down.
Nerd down.
Nerd down.
And that was episode 26 of Between Nerds. Thank you very much, CJ, for being here talking about One Piece. That show was awesome. Please, just a reminder to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to on the podcast on. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on Pandora. We're in Google Play.
Last FM. And don't forget to not only subscribe, but to leave a rating or review. Those I heard those help a lot for analytics and to get exposure. And I think that's our issue because we are getting subscribers, but we don't have a lot of ratings or reviews, so maybe that's why we're not getting as much. So if people on whatever your favorite listening platform is, just leave a quick 5-star rating, type a little something out, like they're great, period. Like who even cares? Just do that for us, and we'll continue to keep making quality content.
Yeah. And please follow us on Twitter @Between Nerds. Also Instagram @Between Nerds. Give us some email shout outs if you want to talk about something else. Just email us at betweennerdspodcast@gmail.com. And yeah, dude, did you like the episode, CJ?
I did actually. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for.
No, we appreciate you, man. You had to watch 40 episodes of something that you already know a lot about.
Trust me, man. It wasn't even like a I loved watching it. I can rewatch this series anytime. I love it so much. It's amazing.
And what I want to start talking about was like. So this is barely our second episode for the month of January. We were just talking amongst ourselves. We have 5 episodes coming in January. Next week, we are going to have Valentin Hernandez Jr.'s second appearance on Between Nerds podcast to talk about Soul Eater.
Unsauced Valentin Hernandez.
Unsauced Valentin Hernandez Jr. And we're going to be watching up to 24 of season 1 of Soul Eater, which is up to a fight to the death at the anniversary celebration arc. And Soul Eater is like One Piece that has mini arcs, and then it has like one overarching saga. So like, there's only 2 sagas in the Soul Eater anime, which would be like season 1 and season 2. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna watch like the first like 7 mini arcs. So that'll be fun. I think it's gonna be a good episode. I'm looking forward to it because Soul Eater has probably been on our polls on Twitter like 3 times
for a while.
Yeah, for like...
And it's almost like third place or second place? Third place or second place?
There was one that almost got first place. There was one like all week it was like first place, and then at the very last minute, I don't even know what we watched. It was like the Konosuba week or something.
Probably.
To be honest, the Konosuba was worth watching.
Did you listen to our episode of Konosuba?
I did, actually.
Did you? What's like the funniest part?
It's hard to say on the spot
because we're so funny, right? It's hard to pick one moment that we all are funny together.
Always hilarious on the podcast, so it's hard to pick the spot on the.
But another reminder that we're still taking in suggestions. Just give us suggestions in Twitter or anything like that, so we can put because. January is not for you guys. We plan January and we're gonna stick to our episodes. So, but still give us suggestions. So we can start February strong with some polls.
Yeah, because we still, even though February is a shorter month, we still get 4 episodes in February because the first Sunday of the month is on the 7th. So just hit us up. We're probably going to be doing polls again by the end of January just to fill up February. But just don't be afraid to hit us up. Don't be afraid to use the hashtag for the month, hashtag AP Fire Nerds, to help us donate to the El Paso Fire Department. And for every original tweet using said hashtag EP Fire Nerds, you will be entered into our January giveaway. I think the only 2 people that have entered are CJ and Mr. Kirby with 4 eyes on Twitter.
Well, shout out to you, bro. You shout out to you.
We do this for you, bro. I feel like, have you seen what's that Netflix show that feels like a shroom trip, but it's just about like a guy doing a space podcast by himself?
What?
No, am I making this up? I watched this with my dad like last month, and I was just trying to like trip him out. It's called The Midnight Gospel. The animation's done by...
I've seen it, but I never... Tell me what it's about.
No, it's really good. So, The Midnight Gospel is... The animation is by Pendleton Ward, who is the creator of Adventure Time.
Yeah.
But, like, the voice acting and the writing is by, like, this super hippie white guru dude. Like, he's been on the Joe Rogan show before. Like, he has, like... He's one of those white guys with dreads that like doesn't wash his beard properly. Like one of those kinds of guys, right? So, but it's super just trippy show that's usually about like Buddhist metaphors for like self-introspection and becoming a better person. So just to trip my dad out one of these days when I saw him and my brother, and it was before the winter solstice last month, and my dad's like super fucking weird and hippie. So I got him blitzed off like a couple different elements. And I made him watch the show, and he was tripping.
He liked it a lot?
He did like it a lot, because that's like how his mind thinks. So seeing that was like really good for him.
What was I gonna say?
Speaking of self-introspection, me and Aldo watched Soul, which is like probably the best Pixar movie in like a decade, bro, because it's so much like Inside Out, and I love Inside Out.
Did you watch Inside Out?
I still haven't seen it. I've seen, dude, I swear to God, I've seen like the beginning of it, and then for some reason or another, I always just have something to do, or I end up just like
finish watching that, and then watch Soul. They're very good movies.
Inside Out,
I've heard nothing but good things about Soul.
Inside Out's like top 4 Pixar, and so that makes like Soul 5. Like, you get what I mean? Like, it's amazing.
That shit. I've heard nothing but good things about Soul, man. I need to watch that shit.
Well, Soul's mainly about the plane of mental existence and how, like, self-introspection can get you to... Because your soul, which is just lives on, like, the plane of consciousness. So your before soul, who is who you are when you're, like, an upcoming soul that needs to learn what your motivation in life's going to be before you're born. And then you're going to the afterlife, and then you're on a conveyor to the forever, or whatever the fuck they call it in Soul. But through like extreme meditation and self-introspection, you can also hit this plane of existence, and that's like where Soul gets super trippy.
Like enlightenment, I guess you could say.
It gets really weird, because we're not okay. So the movie follows, and I don't want to spoil it for you, but it follows a man that is trying to be in a jazz band, but he's a band teacher, and things you can tell that they're not going for him.
Yeah,
he gets a gig. He quits from like his band thing. On the way home, he dies.
No, I mean, I kind of figured.
Yeah. and that's when his soul starts going to heaven. He's like, fuck that. So he goes into this almost limbo realm where all the souls get ready to be born and figuring out what they want to do, because they go through like this mentor kind of...
Yeah, so basically, like, for a soul to be transferred to Earth, it needs to find enlightenment or like motivation. It's spark. Excuse me. You have to find your spark. So the unborn soul can get tutored by like the greats of forever. So like really good philosophers, like really historical, like musicians, warlords, historical figures, all that
people
shit.
That
right?
leave their place.
Yeah, and then that soul will find their spark in painting or something, because Picasso was there before, like
mentors.
So then this guy's in a jazz band, and he gets He gets tied to this plane, and the rest of the movie is him trying to find this unbound soul, like her spark in life.
Oh, okay.
Because she gets accidentally transported into his body, and he has to explain to her, like, yo, you can't fuck this up because I'm trying to get in this band. And that's the whole movie.
Yeah, but it's pretty good, dude.
I need to watch it. I've heard, like I said, nothing but good things.
It just gets trippy, like how like Hindu philosophy it gets. It gets really,
And
really
the animation's just like, whoa. Because even like the cosmic beings are drawn really cool.
yeah, they all look like Picasso drawings, and like.
Yeah,
I need to check it out, man. I've been lacking.
You guys said you watched Promised Neverland.
Me and Karen watched season 2, episode 1 of The Promised Neverland. The Promised Neverland is probably Karen's favorite anime that she's actually seen beginning to end.
Nice.
And but listen. So, a couple months ago, I was complaining to Aldo that when Attack on Titan came back, they started using 3D modeling for the Titans.
You didn't like that?
Bro, that's just ass. Number 1. Number 2. The Promised Neverland has bit the 3D bug. And now the monsters have fucking 3D modeling. And it's so bad, bro.
You didn't like season 4 Attack on Titan? The 3D modeling in that one?
No, well, this one... Have you been watching the final season of Attack on Titan?
It's
worse. It's the one currently on.
Yeah, I think it looks nice.
What we were talking about the other day is that why those anime studios keep trying to do a body that you can do not so easily. I don't want to say it's easy, but I mean, you can draw a body, but... just use CGI for effects things. You know what I'm saying? For like beams, explosions, fire, smoke. I don't give a shit what you use it on. But why do you want to keep 3D modeling on character?
Yeah.
One Piece doesn't even do that anymore. They don't even move character models in 3D anymore. They used to. For a while they were, and that's what everyone was pissed about. But like One Piece, the anime switches his art style every once in a while.
Like how we just saw the one, how they... move just his whole
they especially in the first like dozen episodes, they literally will just move the character with no motion from the character itself. But anyways, the current season of One Piece is like the best the anime's ever looked. Like they're actually doing color gradients, they're actually doing shading, and like
visual wise.
What I was thinking about yesterday is I don't know why it took them that long, because One Piece makes hundreds of millions of dollars. We know that to produce a full season of anime, like 24 episodes, you can do that in like $1 million, $2 million maybe. You know what I mean? That's a $98 million profit.
Yeah.
Like something like One Piece deserves to have like a $10 million budget.
Like Demon Slayer type animation every episode.
Yeah, like that. That's exactly what I mean. Like One Piece makes enough money that they can do that every episode, and I am not entirely sure that why they treat it so cheaply.
What the fuck, Oda? Come on, get in the game.
Well, it's not Oda. It's fucking Funimation.
It's whoever. Yeah,
it's Toei
Animation. Toei Animation. Actually,
it's Toei Animation. They're just super cheap because compare that to like The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian has a season. Each season's 8 episodes, but that because it takes like 3 million episodes to shoot one episode of The Mandalorian.
3 million episodes?
$3 million to produce one episode of The Mandalorian. Yes. Like, do you hear what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's with like these Japanese anime studios and being so cheap about that. Like, this is going to make you tens of millions of dollars, and you can't throw $2 million more on the top of the...
Hell, maybe it's not even him, the one behind that shit. Like Oda, maybe
it has to be Toei Animation.
It has to be, yeah. I guess so.
Yeah, because just like willy-nilly fucking 3D modeling doesn't do it for me.
I'm just saying, I really liked it in the most recent Attack on Titan.
I really like old school like animes just because everything's super drawn like crazy, and you see like these little mistakes and stuff, but it's okay. It's fine. It's hard. You know? But yeah, 3D modeling just...
Well, that's what's annoying about The Promised Neverland, because...
splash of it here and there isn't that bad.
Like, well, we were watching Akame ga Kill.
Yeah, Akame ga Kill.
Akame ga Kill uses a lot of, like, CGI, but, like, for effects and explosions and shit like that.
This is my super blaster attack. All CGI. That's fine. That's fine. It's a fucking energy blast. Like, I don't know what that's supposed to look like. That's fine.
Yeah.
You can totally 3D model that. Like, I don't need any character model ever in 3D, because how did season 1 of The Promised Neverland end? It's the kids trying to run away.
They escaped.
Yeah, the kids escape and they're being chased by the monsters, right? Yeah. We know that much. So the beginning of season 2, episode 1, which I've read like the first like handful of chapters from the manga, so I already know what's going to happen in the first couple chapters, so I wasn't too upset, but I was annoyed by the animation because it's like, so it's the same monsters chasing them, and they're at night in the forest outside the wall, and it's just this model. It's just this monster in entirely 3D modeling, but they didn't even shade it correctly, so it looks really glossy and shiny, like like 90s CG animation. But because it's dark and it's nighttime, I'm supposed to not notice, and it's, I don't know.
Just picked up on it instantly.
Yeah. Like Karen's like, oh, I can't even notice that. How do you see that? I'm like, I don't know. I watch way too much fucking animation. Like,
I saw it.
I noticed that shit like without even like looking for it.
I get you.
But yeah, do we have anything else for the nerd down? What's up, CJ? Do you want to say anything else? What you been up to? What are you gonna do?
Nothing much, man. Just been watching. I've been trying to get. I was just explaining to Drew. I've been watching a little bit of Gintama because it gives me a little. Well, for the early few episodes that I've been watching, it gives me a little One Piece vibes. A lot of friendship type shit, but it's just a lot of just like funny gags with the homies type shit. You know, I like it a lot so far.
Well, we look up anime ratings on my anime list a lot. Like Gintama, I think is literally the #1 highest anime ever.
It's so far, man. I'm telling you, I've been liking it. So
but it's
far.
one of those. It's like another like 600 fucking episodes.
Yeah, man. I'm saying it's a journey.
Like there's a bunch of subsequent seasons, and I don't even know how to get into Gintama because like One Piece was easier because I could like look up arcs because I know what to look for, so I can tell Alda, okay, if you just make it past episode 44, we'll be all right, and we can have a solid discussion about it, right? Gintama, I don't even know. Like, where do I start?
I don't know where I start, but I think that's one of the like the gemstones of just like starting an anime, man. Just like start and willy-nilly take where the ride takes you.
I get that, but I'm trying to schedule a month around watching anime. I need
get
solid answers here. I need the raw data, bro. Like,
I get it for you guys. Yeah, for me, yeah, it's just casual viewer.
It must be nice. When was the last time you enjoyed an anime, Aldo Mendez?
I enjoy anime all the time, but Big Brother Nerds, that was episode 26 of Between Nerds. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, CJ, so much. That was One Piece.
Listen to us next week for episode 27 with Soul Eater and Valentino Hernandez Jr. Thank you very much, guys.
This has been Between Nerds.
This has been Between Nerds.